Hello everyone, welcome to the Game Junk podcast for September 2015. This is episode number 26, and my name is Sean.
My name is Andrew.
My name's Dax.
My name's Dan.
And my name's Frank.
Coming up on this month's episode, we're talking Batman Arkham Knight, as well as some news about Apple TV, some new crowdfunding stuff, and lots of other stuff we played, like Metal Gear and Mad Max. So it's going to be a good one.
iPhone games for Sean.
Yep, definitely some iPhone games for me.
And me, I played too, bud.
So everybody just outranked Frank there, but we should go back and mention we have a couple special guests. We've got Mr. Dax Gordine. Welcome back to the show.
Thanks, buddy. Thanks for having me, guys.
Now, you were on Game Junk previously, right?
Oh, this goes way back to Game Junk. I think it was like the third episode or something. It was when you guys did a year-end, and I talked about Warcraft, and that was it. Do you remember?
Yes.
I couldn't add anything to the entire show except for talking about Warcraft.
That sounds
I think that was the last time I was on.
You're a Warcraft correspondent?
I'm now Warcraft out. That's
I think it's
an
when
update.
the Pandaria,
Warcraft is done for me.
Whatever the Panda update was.
It was, yeah, I think it was the Panda update, yeah.
And
there have been two
Remember
since,
that
and yeah,
stupid
I've since
bullshit?
quit Warcraft. I had a brief foray back into Warlords of Draenor, and then just realized how shitty the game is and left.
You've been back in a few times since, too, don't lie.
No, once. I did Pandas.
Cataclysm.
Oh, you're right. I had to go to Cataclysm. Yeah. But they were both brief. Like, I would hit the level cap and then, like, just get bored right away because it's just, like, that game is just so broken in so many ways.
There's probably one more time you're forgetting about.
Cataclysm, yes.
And another one.
I may have gone back in one more time in Cataclysm when I saw there was new PvP rewards.
Okay, yeah.
But then it was like that was even shorter. It's like every time you go back in, it gets shorter and shorter.
Your memory's selective. I feel now it's coming back. Maybe there was even a couple more.
No. That was it.
It's all good, man.
And we've also got another guest. Welcome back to the show, Double D, Dan DeRoche.
Hi, how's it going?
Pretty good. Dan's our Batman expert.
That's right.
He's beaten Arkham Asylum how many times, Dan?
4.
4? How many times for Arkham City?
I think I just 1,000 gamers scored it.
Yeah, that's
on
pretty
the
good.
Xbox, and then
What about Arkham
played
Origins?
halfway through it on the.
Yeah, what about Origins? What was your...
I played through that on the Xbox, and then I played a bit on the PC. It was obviously the weakest of the first 3 games. It was kind of
But how
terrible,
will it,
especially that multiplayer was horrible.
But how will it rank with the quadrilogy is the question now. So
It's still last for me.
ooh, well,
Origins is last for me. I would say I think I like the new one better than City. And then so in order, we'll do Asylum is number 1, then Arkham Knight, then City, then Origins for me.
Why don't I remember Origins? I'm pretty sure I've played all these games. Which ones? They're all kind of mudding together for me.
Origins was the most recent one before Arkham Knight.
Was that the one they first introduced Catwoman?
The rewind feature and detective mode was introduced in that one.
Yeah, and you fought against Firefly for a bit.
Maybe I didn't play that one. How did I miss a whole Batman game?
You're a hero, bud. You sold all your video game systems. And you're like, I don't need this shit anymore. I can't fucking do this. This is stupid. I'm selling everything I own.
When have any of you ever heard me speak that deeply?
You did sell everything you own, though, video game wise.
Because all I played was PC games or Mac games.
Right, and now finally,
I'm back on board, baby.
He's back.
I got things to talk about.
He's got an Xbox One. We're playing online all the time, like
Except
once every 3 weeks.
Yeah, like whenever Frank finally goes, I'm not at a fucking bachelor party. Sorry, bud.
Well, anyway, Origins wasn't that well received, and it wasn't made by Rocksteady, so could be.
Well, I'll say I liked it just fine. I have no problems with that.
Hey,
game.
I like Origins quite a bit. So, but we'll get to that in a bit. We have some news to talk about. Before we do that, maybe we should just quickly mention we have a Twitter account at Game Junk Podcast. We have a Facebook account, facebook.com/GameJunk. I know we had some emails about gamer tags and stuff like that. I guess we don't mention that often enough on the show. Does everybody want to go around and share their tags for various services if they're interested in.
Ooh. You can find me on all services, the same as Twitter, Dirty Frank with 3 R's in dirty.
Look for the chameleon avatar.
Yeah, you'll find me on Xbox One, PS4. I don't even know what I am on Nintendo. Don't bother. It's a piece of shit. I think that's what I am on Steam too, but I never play that. But you can add me anyway.
I'm DG Prime. So I think if you just search DGEE and then I think Space Prime, like Space Bar Prime, I think that's where you'll find me.
How do you not know?
Well, because I'm starting to feel like I'm that, like 2 generations ago guy who can barely handle tech. You know, it took me a while to set up like my gold account and like refigure out how that was working. A perfect example being, I had $4. It showed me as a credit for $4. I'm like, oh shit, what the hell is this? And this is when Frank's trying to talk me through setting up my account, getting games going. And I'm like trying to push the button and get it to start. And he was telling me to plug in my credit card. I'm like, I don't understand what's going on. I want to use my PayPal. Turns out that money was from a credit card purchase or points that I'd done before on the old account.
It was credit on your account.
I couldn't handle it. I just wanted to play fucking Batman.
Yeah, so you use the credit and then pay the balance with another...
No, you could only use credit card. It told me I had to use credit card.
Oh, I know what that is. It's okay. Let's not get into it. It's super fucking boring.
Yeah. Point is, I don't know shit. So DG Prime.
No, not that you talking about is super boring. Like the reasons for it is super boring. Oh. It's like Microsoft account transition bullshit.
All right, I'm Nightwing 12 on Xbox, and then I'm Nightwing 81 on PlayStation and on Twitch.
With a K or with an N?
Oh, you're twitching?
Like Nightwing. Oh yeah. I stream the Rocket League and StarCraft.
I gotta start twitching, bro.
You should Twitch.
I gotta Twitch that shit.
And occasionally,
got an account. Use it.
I'd watch you Twitch shit.
Oh,
like
man.
Twitching a horror game? Not horror. A horror game? That would be funny. That'd be good.
Would never happen. And we should say Dan does outrank us all in gamer score here.
But probably only for like another couple weeks.
Yeah, Dan hasn't played Xbox barely at all in, I don't know, 2 years, and he's still got 4 Gs on me. I'm coming up quick, though.
He also outranks us all in the World StarCraft leagues.
Yes, that's true.
By quite a bit.
I just heard that just as right before we went to air. This guy, you're bananas. Like I remember playing StarCraft and then quitting because I got really frustrated at that game. For some reason, there's certain games that I can't take PvP or not take PvP or not take player versus player stuff personally. For some reason, StarCraft was one of the games that really pissed me off because it takes so long for me to start building your base to watch like 4 Zerglings come in and kill it all that I just quit. But you're
the barrier to entry.
What rank are you?
High. I'm
what league?
In Heart of the Swarm, which is the current expansion. I'm in Diamond, or at least I was in Diamond. I haven't played Heart of the Swarm in a while because the Legacy of the Void, which is the new one, the beta has been out for a while. So I've switched over to that completely, and I'm in Platinum in that because it's a bit harder. I'm Protoss, and they've done some balance tweaks, so it's a bit harder right now. But
so, in your opinion, I mean, I remember I used to watch like not live streams, but like YouTube channels of like podcasted StarCraft games between certain guys, like Husky StarCraft and stuff like that. What's the most commonly used race right now? Do you think for like high level stuff? Is it still Zerg?
Yeah, I think Zerg's up there, and Terran, especially in like the pro stuff, which is still Heart of the Swarm. They haven't switched over to the new game. The tournaments, everyone I watched, there's not that much Protoss.
Right, and is that because they're harder, or I can't remember what the reason.
Like it tends to be if they're not represented, it's because their strategies kind of aren't working.
Right.
Like you get like the few people that are like really, really good, and it doesn't matter what the strategy is, they can still like hold their own, and then they'll make it through. But when they make balance changes and stuff, it can throw off kind of the timings for certain things and all that.
All right, so Huck City gamertag.
PSN is Huck City. Steam, I think, is Andy Huck, ANDYHUCK, and my 360 one, which hopefully soon will be an Xbox One. Does it cost money still to change your gamertag?
I don't know.
Probably. Why would they not want to make money on that?
I my 361 is the dumbest thing ever. It's my first initial A, my last name, which is hockey like HOCULIK 360. That's what it is. Because I didn't know what I was doing when I signed up.
You
for
didn't know that was going to stick with you for the rest of your life.
That was locked and loaded. So I was a young, ignorant, gotten a free 360 from Silicon Knights, all like excited, signed up like an idiot.
Yeah.
So hopefully I'll change that.
I'm missing how that's really a bad thing. Like your name plus 360.
Oh, it's pretty good.
It's not bad. I mean, like, is it because it's not cool like Nightwing or DG Prime?
Well, that on top of, as soon as you go, well, I guess 360 is universally applicable, but I mean, it's stuck to a.
Yeah, it was for the Xbox
360. Now you want a hockey. Like
you've kind of
Xbox
dated yourself, right? Yeah.
Loser
hockey
tag.
box.
Yeah, that's okay. I'm gonna try to maybe change it to Huck City if that's available.
You should. That's what the world
Just
knows
like
you
your
by.
You should try to reserve that right now.
No,
do it now.
take it.
You can
before
probably
get
do
the-
it like
I
right
know,
now.
but you gotta
Buy that bitch
It may
out.
not
yeah,
charge.
you gotta buy it out. PSN and Xbox, I am Dwired, DWIRED, and I believe Steam is Space Junk, but I don't know for sure. All right, so let's get on to some news. And there actually hasn't been a ton of news since we last recorded, but there was some big stuff today. I actually was kind of hoping it would be bigger than it really was. You know, there was all this talk about Apple was going to announce the new Apple TV, and there was talk about them adding Wii motion controls to the remote, which they did. And it seemed like, you know, because people have been saying for years, when is Apple going to step it up and really try to compete with consoles, you know, with their, with their hardware and make it, you know, specifically about gaming. And that didn't really happen with this announcement. I don't know. Maybe you guys tell me if you disagree, but, you know, they showed off stuff like the new Guitar Hero is going to be playable on Apple TV, but it's a slightly different version of it. They had a new harmonics game, which looked kind of like Wii Sports, but with like a rhythm element to it. I kept waiting for them to drop the killer app, and it never came. So, I don't know. What do you guys think?
Well, I think it's pretty clear what they're trying to do. I would guess that there is a gap in the market since the Wii U was a failure for a large section of casual gamers that just kind of buy something for fun. They bought a Wii when it came out because it was the cool thing to do, and they play it once in a blue moon, and those people have not bought. I'm sure some have gone on to become more hardcore gamers and bought PlayStations and Xboxes, but I assume there's still a large chunk of those that never got a Wii U. And I mean, you get an Apple TV anyway. The price is right. I mean, it just seems like an obvious way to grab that section of the market which hasn't had something to latch on to in a long time.
I'd agree with that. I mean, I didn't even know this release or press release or whatever we're discussing happened, but that makes total sense to me because the Wii, I remember when the Wii hit and that fucking sports game was all people talked about. Like it. But you're right. It was absolutely the casual gamers. It was the people having like a house party with like cheese and wine and like, hey, let's play sports together. We'll all play tennis. You know, it was that kind, and it exploded. So I can see that there's definitely the casual people that will have an Apple TV that can just turn it on and say, yeah, I'll buy that game for it. You know what I mean? As long as they do those kind of games, the play along kind of games, I'm sure it'll do pretty well. Dwight guy, what kind of games did they announce for it? Other than the ones you just said, were there any other ones, or was that it?
I'm trying to remember what else there was. There was
like there was one on iPhone that was like some weird mech game that I'm assuming will be on there. And
that's
like,
right.
how would you control it?
It's a Wiimote. Like the Apple remote is like motion sensor.
Okay.
And you hold it sideways as a controller. It's got a touchpad on it.
Right.
Seems
lame to me.
I didn't get around to reading this article, but do you have to buy a new Apple TV for the games to work?
I think
yes,
so. Yeah.
absolutely.
Okay. Because it seemed to me like, wasn't the original Apple TV like $99, like really cheap?
Yeah.
Did they announce
that one's
a price?
Sorry, go ahead.
Did they announce a price for this one?
I think it was $169, right?
There's two versions. I think it was at 32 and 64 or 64 and 128. and it was $169 or $199, I think.
Yeah, $199 was the more expensive one.
And then the old Apple TV, which is still available, will be $69 or something like that.
That's quite a big jump in price, but I guess if you're getting more content, then it makes sense. But
there's a lot more tech
yeah.
involved in it, and
yeah, they're pushing a lot of other stuff. I mean, they have some interesting sports stuff that I think kind of trumps what Xbox was doing. Frank seemed to not really agree, but it seemed like there was more interesting stuff there.
Well, the problem is the thing that Xbox has is the NFL app, which you can't get in Canada. So how could we even compare?
Yeah, I guess that's true. But I mean,
and same with ESPN, we can't use that app in Canada either. So I don't anyway. I don't have any crazy region unlocking stuff on my house, so I don't get to take advantage of those things. But I mean, I've never used them, so I can't say for sure. But anything that they're going to do on that MLB app, they will update it for other consoles. Like when they showed split screening a game when it was Bautista up to bat, you would have liked it. And I mean, you can do that on current stuff. You can split screen two games. There's nothing that
just
special
the split screen though. Like they had the ability to, I think, like kind of figure out there was like a key moment in a game happening, and then they could prompt you, like send you a notification that, hey, this is going on. You might want to be watching this.
Yes, and I think that will eventually work its way into every. There's nothing special about Apple's technology that allows them to do that. The MLB app on Xbox or PlayStation could easily just handle those alerts as well.
The one thing they did mention, and again, I was kind of just following on a live blog, so I didn't see the actual presentation, but they kind of indicated that they had the ability to kind of take the incoming video signal and get information from that and do something with it, which other apps hadn't been able to do up until now. I don't know if that's all bullshit or not, but it sounded like something significant.
I'm calling bullshit for sure.
It checks the audio level, and if the crowd's going crazy,
maybe
something might be happening over there.
Yeah.
To me, the killer app though is the Siri, like being able to talk to it and say, "I want a movie in this genre, like show me a bunch of movies in this genre and with this actor and or whatever," and it understands what you said and brings it up, right? Like, I mean, the Xbox has something close to that. Like you can talk to it, but I don't think it goes into that detail yet with everything. And especially with, like, I don't know how this Apple thing's going to work with like the third-party apps. Like if you can say like, I want to watch the Blue Jays game or whatever, like does it understand what you're saying? I'm not sure, but if it can do that, that's something that the Xbox so far doesn't completely support. Like it doesn't support all the third-party apps.
I guess in terms of changes to TV and like moving forward, the one kind of interesting distinction is Apple TV has no association whatsoever with channels. Like it's not there to allow you to plug your cable into it or anything like that. So it's all about just finding content on the internet wherever it is. So it's kind of decoupling it from cable, completely, which is not what the Xbox has done up until now. But
well, they could do. Xbox can do both, right?
Yeah.
Any app that a service provider wants to make, they can choose to make it available on Xbox. Apple's clearly the same way they have eliminated CD drives or DVD drives from their laptops and everything else. They're clearly anticipating a future where there is no cable, or it gets phased out eventually, and everyone is just providing content at some subscription rate and monetizing their content in whatever way they want through the internet.
Right. But yeah, I guess in terms of the games, I thought there was one statement somebody made in the blog I was reading that I thought was kind of interesting. They said, out of all the games they showed, like how many of these games would people actually want to sit down and play on their Apple TV as opposed to playing on their phone while they're watching something else on TV? Like they're still fairly casual looking games. They didn't seem like something that really justified being on a big screen. So
when I found out that Beat Sports game was Harmonix, I got mildly intrigued.
Yeah, I mean, I'm interested. That's a big name to pull in, but I was definitely hoping for something bigger. And
Jackbox needs to get attached to this thing immediately because
that would be huge. Yeah.
they need a way to get the word out about that game.
Yep. So maybe this is a good transition into talking about the passing of Nintendo president Satoru Iwata, who, he did a lot of important things. He, in some ways, I think invented the touchscreen for gaming with the DS, which was a system that was kind of ahead of its time. I remember when it was announced, and I thought it was going to completely bomb, and it obviously didn't. And then he was the guy who pushed for the Wii, and so he was all about pushing Nintendo towards that casual market. So the question could be posed, was he a good force for Nintendo, or did he get them to a bad place where they're at now? But I don't know. What do you guys think? Was he pretty pivotal in gaming over the past couple decades, or what are your thoughts?
I think he was definitely pivotal. I mean, even just his work at Nintendo before he became president, he worked on Earthbound and a few other big-name games, which I'm blanking on right now. But just as a programmer, he was able to bring those projects to be great. And then all the stuff... Wasn't
he HAL Labs, like all the Kirby games?
Yeah, that's right. Yeah.
Smash Bros. And stuff like that?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, those. And then, so he was like a Nintendo company man through and through. So he obviously had a good feel for whatever the culture of that company was.
Mm-hmm.
So I don't know if he was good or bad for the company. I mean, obviously they made a ton of money from the Wii. I'm sure they're still sitting on massive amounts from that, even though the Wii U is doing bad right now. It'll be interesting to see what the NX is, because obviously his fingerprints will be all over that. And I think the more interesting question is who takes over and what their vision for Nintendo is. Is it going to be another company man? I remember reading that Miyamoto's not interested at all, and he'd be an obvious kind of candidate for it.
Yeah, definitely.
And then you'd think, well, the only other really forward-facing Nintendo figure right now is Reggie.
No, don't do it.
Well, how could they? You're not going to put an obvious non-Japanese person head of one of the most iconic Japanese companies. So I would say he's not going to be able to. They won't even offer it to him, I don't think.
Yeah, I don't think so.
And so the only people they can get is someone, I guess, internally that has no visibility right now. It'll be interesting if because I think Iwata was the first non-family member president of Nintendo, if I'm correct. I think there's 4 family members of Nintendo before that were president. And so it'll be interesting if they, decide to go back into the family, or if they find someone new that's like an internal company man, or if they go, sort of off the board and get a successful businessman or something. I'm not sure. That's what I think the most interesting thing will be moving forward, because that'll really, I think that will really paint the picture for what Nintendo's going to be in the future.
Yeah, I was just going to say, what about the guy who invented Virtual Boy? But he's dead. He's passed away in 1997, so...
Way to go, Sean.
Unfortunately...
How old is he? Does that say 50?
He was 56 when he died, yeah.
Iwata was
traffic accident.
55. Oh, a traffic accident.
I was going to say in Japan, 56 is like old age. They die early over there.
I don't
think it's the exact opposite.
Oh, yeah, I don't think that's true.
No, it's the amount of it's like I went over to Japan, and they have people sleeping in the streets at night because they work 16 hours a day, and then they have to be up for the train the next day at 6 a.m. and then they'll go to the bar and drink and then stumble out and go into work.
But all they eat is that fish, so
that work to death.
Healthy.
Well, the food is healthy, but I mean
Mercury.
I wouldn't go out and say I have numbers on statistics of death rates and stuff like that. But apparently the stress killing of Japanese working class is quite high still. Because of their working.
Dax's non-factual fact of the day.
Yeah. My non-factual fact.
Yeah, it's 87-year life expectancy for women.
Yeah, for women.
And I'm looking up men.
I don't doubt that stress is a big thing over there for sure. But
80.2 for males.
All right. So I was a bit under on my life expectancy of 56. It was more of a joke.
That doesn't mean it's not a potential problem.
That's right. Stress kills.
Actually, Japan and Iceland. Japan is the best for women, and Iceland is the best for men.
All right, well, that's great, buddy. Could you put away your big smartphone and just, get ready to sit here with us on the show? Thanks.
Dax
Mr.
is
Diamond
2
League.
generations behind. He didn't anticipate
Mr. Diamond
you
League.
guys.
I'm also sipping on a delicious ginger beverage right now, too, so my words might get a little mixed.
Yeah, I don't know. So do you guys, I know you were mentioning this, Frank, but do you see Nintendo going in a direction other than casual in the near future? I know they kind of had hinted that the Wii U was going to cater to hardcore gamers, and then I think the only thing they did was put out Bayonetta 2, which bombed, and that was it.
I'm hopeful that it might trigger a change in their philosophy. I don't know if it will, but I'm hoping someone gets in there that sees what other systems are doing well. I'm not saying Nintendo has to lose their charm, what makes them Nintendo, but just adding the features people want and expect in today's day and age, and adding achievements to all old Nintendo games and dominating video games for the next century would be a bold and fruitful strategy for whoever that is.
Yeah, they definitely need to step up the virtual console because it's just a mess.
What the fuck is going on? My phone was vibrating.
Okay, do you guys want to talk about this Fig crowdfunding platform?
Yeah, I didn't know about it until you had mentioned it in the email. So it's a Kickstarter crowdfunding thing for high rollers, people who have a lot of money to invest and will get a return on those investments if the game does well, I think is the idea. One game at a time will be featured on the site, and you have to have, I think, a $200,000 annual income. Dan, you were saying $1 million in assets or fixed assets. I don't know.
I think it can't be your house.
And you have to be SEC approved.
Yeah.
Yeah, which
so it sounds like a real shit show.
But I mean, that's because it is like a true investment in a product, which, people have been saying for a while now that Kickstarter is kind of, you feel like you're funding something, but all you get at the end of it is the product itself. But if you hadn't put up your money, then the product wouldn't exist. So like if they go on and sell it afterwards, like shouldn't you get a cut of that? And I don't totally agree with that, but it seemed like it may have been an answer to that, except that, well, yeah, in order to make it a real investment, you have all these other limitations, and it's really not for the average person. So
how does it work on the developer side? Like, do people have to line up and be approved by this Fig company to get your indie game made? Like, how, or is it exclusively for rich people's games getting made in the first place?
No, I think lots you can apply to be on it,
right?
But they have a very serious vetting process,
right?
And they only select certain ones to put out to the public. Like I said, there's only one at a time, right? Or at least that's what they say now. So which one that is and which one follows it will be very carefully chosen.
So it is like Shark Tank or Dragon's Den for video games on the internet.
Maybe a little bit. But I mean, it's not just some faceless corporation that's doing it. Like, it's a lot of people, like game developers. I know Tim Schafer is involved, a bunch of other people who already had successful Kickstarters for their own games and kind of thought, maybe we could do things a little bit differently.
I think those guys are just contributing as far as the approval. Like,
they're the curators.
They're the insides of the game development process to let people know, like, if this team will actually do it or not. But I don't think they have any. I don't think they're putting any money in.
Well, I don't know.
It's not like Double Fine Productions is contributing. I don't think.
No, but all the people involved, I believe, are devs at some level.
Oh yeah.
So I'm not.
I just don't think they're financial backers in any way. to the project.
But are they stakeholders in the company? So I'm sure whatever this is taking some kind of cut. Do those people we're talking about, are they paid employees essentially, and do they get a part of that cut? Are they stakeholders or founders of FIG, or just working for FIG?
That is a good question.
No one knows. I don't know.
I
I'm just.
have an article here. I'm trying to skim through it, but
Whatever. Who gives a fuck?
Are the games also further in development? Like, I don't see it being we have a concept on a piece of paper.
Yeah,
They're probably a lot further along to actually get, like,
Yeah, I think you have to have
otherwise
like a real
you may as well just
prototype.
throw your money away, right?
Yeah, not just
Makes
concept
sense.
art.
Yeah.
Whereas Kickstarter, sometimes it's like, we haven't even started anything. This is what we want.
It's off credibility.
We think
basically,
we're going to do
Kickstarter,
this,
yeah.
and right, and so you're.
Yeah. Kickstarter is just a
Potentially.
popularity contest.
Yeah.
I think you could see both on this thing. It depends if the curators would decide, if they have faith in the people, that they've made stuff before and they know what it is. All those factors would go into them.
I just think
deciding.
the seriousness of it, like this way, they're dealing with people with money as opposed to like some random guy on the internet with $50.
I think it is more like Shark Tank.
That game is that you're into,
Mm-hmm.
right?
But I think
55
it's more. It would depend on the game. Like, for example, Shenmue at E3 had nothing to show, right? But clearly, it was a name that excited people. So I think that the curators would decide. Ultimately, can we make money with this? It's strictly a money-making decision, a business decision, and they're going to back the things that they think they know people want and will support. And I don't know if I'm assuming there's goals it has to reach, just like Kickstarter. I don't know how that would work, but I mean, ultimately, they're going to set those goals to mitigate their risk and make sure they make money. It's all a big Ponzi scheme.
I personally,
Bullshit.
if I had a company that was making a game, I don't know if I'd want to apply to FIG, because, I mean, I've worked with the publisher before, and they constantly are sending you feedback and stuff to change, and I'm sure that if you have legitimate investors that don't know anything about game development, they might have input as well, and I think that would be much more frustrating to deal with than like a publisher who actually has made games before. Now, if it was kind of filtered through the curators that we talked about before, that might be okay. But if, I don't know, it would be interesting to see how that relationship is between the financial backers and the actual companies that are running the business. But I have a feeling that it's not going to be like this hidden thing where the developer just gets a truckload of money and then at the end, like, they get their cut. I'm pretty sure there's going to be some back and forth there.
I mean, I think that's a legitimate concern. I know Kickstarter, that one of the advantages is that, I mean, yeah, you're going to have fans asking to have input in some way, but, you know, you can kind of just sit back and make the game you want if that's what you want to do. But with this,
it's less of a two-way street. It's kind of just you tell people and maybe answer some of their questions, but you don't really have to listen to them.
yeah, but with this, if people are investing a significant amount of money and they're, you know, high rollers who have some influence to begin with, that, yeah, they probably will be like, yeah, you know, can you change this or that? And I don't know if that's a good thing.
I just see it too as being like a kind of a terrible investment. Like, the video game industry is so full of like all these cases of games that you thought were going to be like, were hyped up and then are colossal failures, right? And it's so hit or miss. Like, for every Minecraft, there's like a ton of like a wasteland of games that nobody's even heard of that cost a fortune to make. That, so it's like you're putting your money into this thing, and like, obviously that's why you have to be a high roller, that you can withstand the loss. But
Yeah,
I
I
don't
mean,
know. If you want to invest in video games, there's probably a lot better ways. Like, you can buy the stocks of the major publishers, or
yeah, you've got to
you know what I
assume
mean?
these things are. You'd have to think there's a huge opportunity there, or I mean,
Yeah.
it is just it's
it's
investing. It's a risk. So
Yeah, it's just a huge risk.
But I'd also assume that people like that are investing in this fake site are kind of like the Mark Cubans of the video game world. Like they enjoy it. Like they probably are big video game heads, or they have an interest in the industry. So that goes beyond just the money. You know what I mean? It's more just like, I want to, make games, and this is how I would do it, is by putting my money in here. You know what I mean?
I do wish there was a way to do something like Kickstarter where you buy shares in a game essentially, and like it's like a share in a company, where even a minimum, whatever you invest, you can determine your own risk level and put money into it. And
Well, based on you and Garden Warfare the other night, let's pray to God they don't actually create this and put it on Xbox Live Gold, so that you can just kind of hit buttons like, say, select stocks for this game, because you would do it.
So I bought a few microtransactions. Big deal.
we played PvZ GW for about an hour because I was having terrible lag, but we got to play some. But anyways, this guy, I'm like, I gotta go to the bathroom, man. I'll be right back. He's like, yeah, okay, I'll just buy a shit ton more stickers. He literally he bought like, how many was it? 20,000. How many credits did you buy?
I spent $10, man. Let's not go crazy here.
Oh, well, he was acting it up on the thing.
No, I spent $10.
He goes, I just dropped 80 bones. 200,000?
$10 or something.
The guy was opening sticker packs for like 20 minutes.
I just did it as a little gas, man. Inject some
Is this not?
excitement. Your lag was so fucking bad we couldn't play the game, so I had to do something to reduce my losses of the night. I guess I maximized my losses with that
I think
purchase.
though, Frank, like what you're saying, like buying shares, that's what this fig thing is. It's just in the US, the regulations are such that for something that's not a stock, you have to be one of the high rollers. Like it's the SEC
exactly.
regulation. Right? I think they're trying to change that, because there's all like those like micro lending sites, and it's the same thing. If you want to like lend somebody $20 and get money back, you have to be a person that has 200,000 income, and it's like, well, I have $20 I could lend, and I want to get back like the 6% or whatever on my $20. But yeah, so I think it's, once the regulations change, then maybe that site will switch over to be, anybody can come in and chip in their $5, and if they make $10 out of it, then you made $10, right? Yeah.
Now, the weird thing is, it says it's the brainchild of game developer Justin Bailey. Now, am I crazy, but am I the only one who remembers Justin Bailey being the password for Metroid, where you could skip ahead to near the end of the game with the costume off?
I have no idea.
I never played Metroid. I wouldn't know.
I swear.
Bly
that's what
guy's
it was.
finally bringing some hardcore game knowledge to the table.
That was some hardcore
I'm
shit.
assuming he's 100% right, and I'm
That was
loving
his
it.
life.
Googling it here.
Nintendo.
Yes, it is. But is that the same guy? Is that this was named after? That's what I need to know.
It's pretty coincidental there, bud. I mean, that's like two names you just banged off there
But
that
is
are
it-
the exact
I mean,
same.
It's not that uncommon of a name, I would
Well,
think.
Could you Google that guy's LinkedIn, or where did he work?
It says, though Justin Bailey is among the most well-known codes for Metroid, it is believed by some to be merely a fluke in the password system. For some time, it was believed that Bailey meant bikini in Australia, and that Justin referred to Samus being just in a Bailey. Because
Oh,
it's
that's
just
pretty
it's
good.
her
That
with
is
the
pretty good.
spacesuit off, right? But that does not seem right. Weird.
Nice.
Anyway.
Nice trivia.
Yeah. So let's do another news story, which can lead into a hot button topic for discussion, which is pre-ordering. Seems to be a big thing people are talking about right now, whether or not you should pre-order your games. And I know Deus Ex Mankind Divided, which is the next Deus Ex game coming out, I believe February or March, something like that.
Yeah, I think March something.
So they have a pre-order campaign going on where essentially the more people who pre-order, the more bonuses everyone gets. So just encouraging more people to pre-order. So you can keep there, you hit certain tiers and then you unlock more bonus stuff for everybody.
They're basically treating it like a Kickstarter.
Kind of, yeah.
I kind of like it.
Yeah.
I'm going to be... I don't know
It's
what
smart.
the tiers are. I just think people pre-order stuff all the time, and the only people who are, I mean, you get some exclusive DLC, whatever, but the people who are benefiting are EB, and it's certainly not a collection of gamers that would get something out of it. I mean, it was either that or you get nothing, so I don't know how it could be that bad a thing unless they've eliminated any pre-order DLC bonuses. If it's in addition to that, I think it's a great idea.
Well, yeah, it's not specific to one store or anything. Like, this is you pre-order it online. And
I tried to pre-order it online through their website, and I could not figure it out how to. I wasn't actually going to go through with it, but I just wanted to see like how the tier system would work. I think some of the outrage comes from one of the DLC tiers is like a mission or something like that, like some actual gameplay something, not just a skin. And I wonder if people I wonder if people thought that if they didn't reach that tier, they wouldn't develop that aspect of the game. And I think it's the exact opposite. I think they have all this stuff they're planning on making, and it's just like, do you get it for free or will you have to buy it?
yeah, it says here that if you want all this stuff, like all 4 tiers, just buy the collector's edition. It comes with all that stuff.
Yeah. So I don't know does anyone actually know why people are getting pissed?
Because people are so up in arms about pre-ordering in general, they somehow think that this makes it even worse now because they're trying to force people to pre-order when right now the big thing on the internet is don't pre-order because games come broken.
Oh, is that it? I think it's a good idea. I think it is good for is this Square Enix? It's good for Square Enix because they will entice people to pre-order, which means they know how many to make, how many discs to press. It's good for the people who pre-order because they'll potentially get more stuff for free. And, I mean, it's good for the people who don't pre-order because then, they'll still be able to get the stuff. And now they know that that's going to be in the game. I don't know. I'm confused.
I basically pre-order about 4 days before the game comes out digitally. So I'll wait for any like huge red flag reviews or anything like that. And if it's something I'm sure I'm going to buy on day one anyway, I'll pre-order it just so I get some of the bonus stuff which comes with it. And it's already downloaded and ready to go, which is great on Xbox One because they always release their games the day before at like 9 o'clock or 10 o'clock or midnight. So I can play it right away when it's ready. And I don't have to wait for it to download. I don't have to wait for day one patches. And it's perfect.
I don't understand. I mean, to me, like I just recently, I guess my most recent purchase that I can think of, pre-order would be, I'm a Guild Wars 2 gamer. So I've been playing that for about 2 years. And so they're now releasing Heart of Thorns in the end of October, I believe it is, which is, I think, their first expansion. And the pre-orders came up and I knew I was going to play it because I've been playing it for 2 years. And so I'm like, yeah, I'll throw my money at them, right? It's like a free-to-play game. Like, I'm used to playing Warcraft for 8 years. And so when I've come onto Guild Wars and realized that you're playing for free, but microtransactions kind of fund the game, I'm actually more inclined to drop $10 every other month on, say, a new costume that comes out because I feel like I'm giving back to the game or to the people that are making a free game, basically. So when the pre-order for this came up, I ended up getting the highest level one because it ended up giving, like, a bunch of perks. Like, you get this skin for this and this and this. And then for me, it turned out to be like $100 digital collector's edition that I bought. But I'm like, you know what? It gave me coin or crystals, like in currency store.
You got crystals?
Tokens for the store. Crystals for the store. Right? So basically it buys
You were making fun of
microtransaction
me
stuff.
spending $10 on Plants vs. Zombies.
No, yes.
And you bought
I
some
know.
crystals.
Believe me, I just wouldn't.
Crystals are
Plants
better
vs.
than
Zombies is
stickers.
not a game that I like getting the coins from actually playing it, but that's just me. This game, for some reason, I feel like I'll give an extra couple bucks to buy the stuff. So I was like, I'm going to spend those coins anyway. Fuck this. They're actually cheaper. This works out for me. And I, too, saw online and heard online that there was a lot of up in arms against the Guild Wars 2 thing, the pre-order, and it's bullshit, and they shouldn't do this. And I was like, well, if you want to, do it.
Yeah,
if you
no one
don't,
is
don't
making,
do it. Nobody's
no one is
making you
you
pre-order
do it.
anything.
That's the thing I don't get. No one is saying either. Obviously, there's part of them that wants that stuff.
Right.
And they want the game, and well,
Yeah, if you want it, then pre-order.
pay up, buddy.
Yeah, like fuck.
Get
Whatever.
on it. And I'm making fun of the crystals, but I've paid for stickers in games, and I've paid for Clash of Clans, and I've paid for Monopoly Million.
Most embarrassing is Facebook. You know what? I did the same. Unfortunately, I dropped $5 on Facebook Monopoly for that fucking car too.
What?
Remember that car, the $5 thing for the speedy car? What was in Facebook Monopoly? Like,
Monopoly Millionaires.
Yeah. Because you told me about it, I was like, you know what? That was the first ever microtransaction I ever made was Facebook Millionaires.
And I agree with you completely. I played that game so much. Same with Clash of Clans.
Right, it's worth it for
I'm
you,
like,
right?
I'll give them $10 or whatever.
Fuck.
Who cares?
Yeah. If you think about how much money,
I
like, say
piss away $10 every day.
Exactly, and for me, it makes even more. I mean, I know a lot of console gamers who are like, no, they won't do microtransactions because it's like you spend your $60 on a game, and that's all you're spending, and that's the way you want it. I went for 6-7 years having no problems paying $15 a month to Blizzard.
And
right?
how many servers did you change?
Exactly,
within that time?
and that's the thing.
No,
like I kind of
say
so
the
basically
number.
for things like this, for $10 for a game that I really like.
How much did you spend in name changes?
We've already done this. I
and
believe on the
servers?
last episode I was on, you made fun of me for how much money I spent on Warcraft. It was way too much stupid money.
Like we said, it was a long time ago. We have new listeners. Let them know.
Way too much. I mean, I think at one point transfers to servers were $75. I think I did that twice.
Well, that's not too bad.
And then but then I name changed the same character 3 times for like $10-15 a time. It's just stupid shit. It does cost. Yeah, it was dumb. Plus, I'm dropping $15 on it a month.
And the
for
expansions?
the 4, 5, 6 years I was playing it. Expansions. I definitely spent a lot of money.
Speaking of WoW, my account got hacked. I never play.
Oh yeah.
And
My account got hacked too.
This one night,
Dormant.
I'm out, and I'm getting all these emails. I'm like, so and so just. Thank you for purchasing this. Thank you for doing this.
Right.
We've migrated this. We've done that. And I'm like, oh my
Yeah.
God. And so I look up there right away. I'm like, oh, I'll just call customer service. You can't do it. It's impossible. You have to go through their online system.
Yeah, they have no number to call, or even if they do, I mean, I remember having the same issue where like you end up having to go through that little automated service of what is your ticket?
Yeah, it's insane. They at least need some front line that you can call someone when I'm not at home and I want to see what's going on. I mean,
yeah, WoW is
I'm
brutal.
done with Blizzard. They're done. I'll play Diablo 3 on Xbox One. But that's what it is.
So for me with pre-orders, like I don't really see the problem with this Deus Ex thing. Like I'm all about if there's a good incentive. So like
Well,
I'll pre-order games
Let's
when
not
they're
say
cheap.
incentive.
Well, that's an incentive.
Your incentive is the deal.
Yeah, of course. But sometimes they're, Amazon does a sale where it's like pre-order 3 games and you get 30% off each game, right? So like I think I like the new Halo that's coming out. I have that pre-ordered from like 2 years ago, but I'm paying like $39.
And look at how much
tax
games have
included
gone up
or
in
something.
price.
And now
since
they're
then.
like, if I wanted to go buy it, it's like $70. I'm getting it pretty damn
80
cheap.
now.
Yeah,
80.
Yeah, so I'm getting a half price, right? So in that case, it makes sense. Or as an example, I'm big into StarCraft, and so the new StarCraft expansion that I'm in the beta for is coming out, and their incentive to pre-order that was there's these 3 like free missions that you get that they're gonna put out like right before the game comes out, and if you pre-order, you get them right away. So I've already played them.
Exclusivity.
That's right.
You're paying
just
the
in
time.
And you had no
I
problem
word.
because you play it so much.
I knew I was
right?
going to be I knew I was buying
exactly.
the game.
And you play it
matter
so
what,
much
now
that
it's
you're like, to me,
well,
this is a sound investment.
Yeah, exactly. And,
Like,
I'm like, I'm getting this game for sure. So why not play the 3 levels now?
Amen, brother. Preach.
I feel greasier about DLC than I do about pre-order bonuses. Like Arkham, we'll talk about Arkham Knight. I bought the
You got
the
that
season
6-month
pass
bullshit thing?
for $40 or $50,
Oh,
whatever
no.
it
Have
was.
they even released anything?
I still feel so dirty about it, but at the time, I loved the game, and like
I agree. The game, yeah.
I want to play.
But
as
have they released anything yet?
Batgirl. What?
Have they released any of those up?
Yeah, the Batgirl, Harley Quinn DLC.
Okay, so it's just costumes.
They're
instead of
terrible. Well,
A few
no,
levels
they-
or
like a
something?
level.
they actually did a lot of
missions.
stuff. Like it's new characters
Like
essentially.
Arkham City, they did that with, right? When you can be Robin or was that Origin? Sorry. There was one, the last Batman I remember playing before this one was the one where the first time you could play Catwoman and then you had to play her special
you could play
levels.
as Nightwing.
Yeah.
That was the big thing. with
Nightwing,
that.
yeah.
And it's the same thing. It's like unlocking new characters, and we'll get into it. That's one of my favorite things about Arkham Knight is playing as Catwoman. And
But can you play through
some
the
of
whole
other
city
char-
as that? Or
No, it's a mini mission / side story as that character.
But that's what they did in the city. I remember even in City, I felt kind of shafted
Or
by that
when
because
you're
you're so quick.
I know, but I'm not saying it's great. Believe me, I thought it was a ripoff too.
Right.
But I need that 1989 Tim Burton Batmobile, which is coming soon.
Oh, is that what they're doing?
That's what we're talking about. And if they do some stuff with Burton's Batman, it was worth the price of admission alone, which they said they're doing. I'm sure it'll be
All they're going to do is skin the fucking car to Burton's Batmobile.
You never know what's going to happen. But
What else do you think they're going to do? Put Michael Keaton on this?
They already have huge balloon assets. They could simulate the parade scene. Maybe they'll throw the Batwing in there. I don't know.
Pretty amazing.
Look, they can.
They already
do
have the
whatever
Batwing. They could reskin the Batwing too.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah,
but you
that's
can't
true.
play the Batwing.
No, it's true. But it comes in the sequel. Yeah, whatever.
But anyway,
Yeah.
$50 for that is
Still
quite
a
a
rip-off.
bit, and I feel stupid for buying it.
Right.
But whatever.
So I bought the there's that CD Keys website where they sell Steam keys and stuff. So I bought it on there, pre-ordered it. I think I paid like $30 for the game, but it was like the deluxe edition. So I got the DLC and all that.
Oh, nice.
And then they promptly got rid of the Steam version for months because of all the all the PC problems. So all the DLC that I'm supposed to get, like all those side missions, I'm like, well, I'll play it on the Xbox, and then I'll do the side missions on this cheap game that I just bought off of this CD Keys, and then I haven't been able to play any of the DLC at all.
PC Master Race fail.
Yeah.
I love it.
See, but there's an example of where pre-ordering is bad, right? Because a lot of people
for sure.
pre-ordered that game on PC, and it was completely broken and unplayable.
Should look up what the reviews are right now. I guess you can't look it up now, but it was really
Okay,
bad.
so Sean, we were talking about FIG, all these other things.
Yep.
Risk reward.
Yeah.
Do you want it? Do you want the perks? Do you not? Look, at the end of the day, it's in your hands. No one's making you do anything you don't want to do. And if you're okay sleeping at night without that exclusive DLC,
Some
Wait
people
for
sleep like,
launch
I
day.
hope you sleep like a baby. But if you want it, pay up and deal with it. And you know what? You should sleep soundly too, because it's only $10. Relax.
But as an example, like Sean said, like I pre-ordered the game on the PC because it was cheaper.
you got the deal,
Yeah.
you got
Right?
pressured into
And
it.
I'm like, I got a great deal, right? I'm like, this is great. And then the game comes out, it's completely broken. And then none of the DLC is out yet on the PC, and who knows when it's coming out. So I paid all this extra, and then now
Well, you paid all that less.
well, I paid less, but it is extra because now if you go on CD Keys, now that they've re-released it finally, I think it's $12.
Yeah,
and I
you-
paid $30.
You were playing the stock market. You bought high.
Yeah, exactly.
You should have bought low.
I should have waited, right? So that's where you kind of
Right.
get screwed, right? But
yeah,
it's the same though. I mean, even if you buy the game right on the first day and don't pre-order it, you go to the store and buy it, you could get home and it's broken.
Exactly.
And you have to wait 6 months for them to finally patch it, or if they even do.
And all that matters, it might affect you the next time that same company or publisher or what have you tries to do the same thing, you'll know. And it's going to affect their bottom line. And you are empowered as a consumer to decide to do it or not. This is not,
A woe is me situation.
no, well,
Nazi Germany.
I feel it's bad if you pay for something that's broken, and you
Yeah.
should be pissed.
Absolutely.
I don't disagree with that at all. But you don't have to buy it next time. And if that's the way you feel, you shouldn't buy it. All these people who are saying don't buy pre-orders, if you believe that movement is correct, don't buy it. That's totally fine. You have the power to do that. And if there's enough people doing it, believe me, you'll shake the tree. You'll shake some things loose and things will change. But there might be more people than you who are willing to buy it, willing to spend it, and don't give a fuck. So this is the free market. This is free trade.
The real democracy.
Brave new world.
The real
What's
democracy
the term for the U.S.?
Free enterprise?
Free enterprise. No, it's something else.
Capitalism.
Capitalism?
Capitalism. That's the word. The big fucking C word. This is capitalism. Big corp.
Yep.
Just submit and do it, or don't submit. Do whatever you want. Right?
Yep.
Yes.
At the end of the day, I got 2,000 crystals.
At the end of the day, exactly. And you love your
I
crystals.
love my crystals.
You think about those crystals.
I do. Actually, I'm kind of pissed. I spent it by accident on the wrong fucking outfit the other day, and I was kind of pissed.
See? So they got you.
They got me.
you.
Hook, line,
They got you.
But
already.
did I get mad at them?
No.
No. I
Got
was
mad
like,
at yourself.
I'm a fucking idiot. I bought the wrong
and
fucking
you love
outfit.
it. You know what you're doing. You're a grown ass man.
I'm a grown ass man who bought crystals.
I'll never buy a shiny Entertainment Matrix game again before it comes out. That's for sure. When Enter the Matrix had every
That game I beat. Actually, that's probably
get
the only game.
Buy
I've
Enter the Matrix,
beaten
get 2
fully.
copies for free. Oh, why wouldn't I buy this game? Oh, this just You find out really quickly why they did that, and that's why
I played every
always
Matrix
take
game made.
great deals as a warning as well. The great deals, again, it's risk reward. I remember seeing, what game was it? I'm like, it was really going on sale, and they had a bunch of bonuses. It might have even been Metal Gear, and my red flag's going up. Ooh, something's wrong.
Just like
with
in the
this.
game.
Yeah, exactly. I'm like, ding, ding, ding. This game's gonna be shit. Stay away, stay away, stay away. And then boom, drop day happens. 10 out of 10. 10 out of 10. 10 out of 10. I'm like, is this payola? What's going on here? Something's up. And it's just a good game. That's all there is to it. I didn't act. I wimped out, and
Right.
I paid the price.
Well, what did you lose out on? What was?
Well,
the...
I didn't personally, because I think most of the deals were for physical copies. I wanted the digital one anyway. But look, the opportunities are there for the taking. It's a miniature version,
Like you said,
of
video
the
game
stock
stock
market.
market. baby.
There you go.
Video game stock market.
All right,
VSM. VGSM. Hashtag.
And rant.
That wasn't a rant. I was just loving it, man.
We're vibing over here.
All right. Well, this is probably a good time to jump into our review of Batman Arkham Knight.
Let's do it.
I think this is the first full group review we've had this year.
Probably in the last 5 years.
Probably, yeah. It's been a
I
while.
don't even remember what the last one is that you finished.
Yeah, I know.
I mean, you've
So
reviewed
everyone here has
something
finished the game.
What's that?
Yeah,
Everyone here is finished. But are we going on to Batman right now?
Yeah,
Yeah.
we'll finish in quotes,
And everyone
let's
is-
say.
Finished main storyline.
Yeah.
Right. Finished main storyline in quotes.
Yeah.
not like I finished the main storyline, but I didn't beat 100%.
Either have I. Frank
so I don't
has
have
like
the
8
real,
times.
Like, there's a different ending if you beat it.
Yes, apparently.
haven't-
Like it's
YouTube
called
it.
Nightwing Protocol or
Nightfall
Nightfall
or
Protocol or
Just YouTube
something.
it. It's like 2 minutes long. It's not
But I mean, if it's like, we'll get into it because I have some issues
I'll
with
get-
it. But
I haven't looked at the YouTube thing. I'll
well,
eventually.
let's
do
Yeah.
that.
let Dan D, the master of Batman,
yeah,
start it off.
Let's see. Well, I don't know. I really like it. The Batmobile stuff is pretty fun. It's a good step up on Arkham City. I thought combat is still just as good. And the story, I liked the story. Although knowing about Batman, I kind of saw the twist
Oh, did you?
like a mile away. I'm like, oh, okay, I know who this is already.
Right. Yes,
kinda
I
thing.
agree. I felt kind of the same way. By I think it was 1 or 2 cinematics in, I was kind of like, I bet you they're going to do that, and they did.
Yeah,
you feel,
yeah.
They feel like they did.
So, yeah, like I kind of already knew what they were getting to
Mm-hmm.
because of knowing the Batman story. But, yeah, I don't know. Overall, I liked it.
You and about 80 billion other people liked
it was.
So this one is number 2 on your list.
Yeah, it's number 2 on my list.
I don't
liked it.
remember Asylum. Are
Asylum-
you saying Asylum is great because maybe it was the first and it was the first of its kind kind of thing?
It's not just the first. I think the story was
It was that was the Joker one, right?
the
Where it was
way
all based on
yeah
the
the
Joker?
first just the way that everything was presented in the first one.
It was amazing.
It just was like so like I don't like cohesive. Like it was just
Right.
like one. Like honestly, they could take that and make that into a Batman movie.
The
Yeah,
level
and
design
that would be it.
was the best.
Yeah, it was great. Everything about it was good. The story was good. The level design was good. The combat was awesome.
But I do also think that maybe a lot of this, and I'm not arguing with you, I just think as a counterpoint to that, maybe it was because it was the first of its kind that I had ever played
No.
in that kind of the way that combat worked. It was like a groundbreaking kind of game for me in that sense. Am I wrong? Were there other games that did that kind of thing?
Well, I think Dwight Guy would be the first to chime in as well. It's because its design was basically Metroid. It was a contained environment with gates, and it wasn't a sprawling city.
Yeah.
There were places you couldn't get to. You recognized you'd need things later to do it. It was unlocking a map and re-exploring areas
Like
newly
Zelda too.
acquired
Yeah.
techniques. It's Metroid, which I think
It
people
wasn't
love.
open world, the first Batman one?
No.
It felt
you were
like
free
open
to,
world,
like,
but
wander
essentially it was
around,
Metroid.
But yeah,
Like a map, right? Like you're
But
free
it was
to wander
like
within
I
a map.
can't get in here because I don't have this gadget, and then like
Right.
2 hours later you get that gadget, and you'd be like, I can go back there and
Right.
get that trophy that I saw an hour ago. Or
I just remember I'm a huge combat guy. Like for me, games, the combat, like melee combat, is like that will make it shine to me. That'll be if I love a game or not. And I remember Batman, the first time I played that game, Asylum was the first one, right? I lost my mind. Like I spent hours and hours and hours with those 20 free-flowing combos and stuff like that. I just thought it was the greatest thing ever. Like I'd never seen a game that was that smooth from like transitioning in a combat between multiple people. I thought it was fantastic. This game, Arkham Knight, I felt the combat was amazing. They'd obviously, probably buffed it a little bit. I didn't notice too much difference. It kind of felt like how those games play in general. I thought it was great. One thing I really did notice, obviously, my favorite part about it was the atmosphere and the flow throughout the city, the vastness of the city, the theme and the feel, like how everything was dark and the rain. And like I thought thematically it was very, I guess, Batman's an easy kind of thing to do because it's just dark and gritty and fighting and you've got Batman. But it was just really well done. I felt like there were like those moments where you could be sitting on a statue or something like that, or on the top of a building, and just sit there and it just dive off, and you could just go for miles without touching the ground. But it felt seamless. Like it was really well done. That was my favorite part. My least favorite part would have to be the Batmobile, but that's just because a lot of it I started to realize near the end. Like when I first started playing, I was like, I'm not fucking playing Batmobile City. I want to play Batman. I want to punch people and use all my gadgets. Like, why the fuck am I being told that I have to race through Riddler's sewer grate challenge? You know what I mean? But at the end of the day, I started to realize when I was venting to Frank, I was getting so pissed. And that's when he said, you should come on the show. But I think near the end, I realized it was more my inability to play it. Like, it was a learning curve for me. I'm still shitty at the Batmobile. Like, I still slide and hit in walls. And the chase parts of the game, like chasing those militia vehicles, just pissed me off because it was like, come on, bud. Like, these, if they didn't have that little tracker on the floor, not a chance, bud.
I would say that is the weakest part of the game. Not the Batmobile, but that specific aspect of the Batmobile, which is the run and gun aspect, where you're not in tank mode.
Tank mode's amazing.
If you're doing combat in chase mode, they needed more wrinkles. Batmobile combat as tank has so many wrinkles, and they keep adding to it.
No, it is good,
and they emulate. This is my favorite thing about the game: how tank mode for the Batmobile takes the ideas of the combat of the game and applies it to vehicular combat, and that everything is predetermined. You see the lasers where they're aiming.
Do the double
you
dodge
know when
out
the
of the
missiles
way.
are coming.
Yeah.
They have skill incentives with the critical hit lights on every vehicle, and when I screwed up in that, it was my fault. Mm-hmm. It was never the game's fault. I didn't feel it was cheap. Just like the regular combat, the signals are there, the tells are there. Mm-hmm. Any failure is on me. And I thought they translated that perfectly without doing the exact same thing. It was essentially a shooter version of that combat, a third-person shooter with the tank, and I absolutely loved it. But the chasing combat was pretty weak, I'd say. The weakest part of the game.
Right.
Oh, sorry.
I was just going to say that part of the chasing combat, though, could have been made a lot worse if they didn't do all that work where you can basically just plow through basically any obstacle, which...
Yeah, we need to spec into that with points, though, right? I don't think I bothered with that.
No, you never really get hung up on things. I think is
like
what Huck's saying.
Statues and even
wall
pillars,
yeah.
you just blow through, and that sort of stuff in card games is always the most frustrating when you get stuck on like a little post. And this game had none of that. They took all that. They realized that was all fluff and not needed, so they just let you plow through everything and continue on your way. So you never really got stopped as you were always moving fast, even if you
unless you're bad like me and literally like I would go so hard into turns that like I agree, if you nudge a building you plow through it, but if you're bad like me at the driving part, you end up getting spun around and the car goes out of your range and you're like, are you joking? Like, fuck off.
Well, I would say, even though I said it's the worst part of the game, I don't think it's that bad either. I just think it took too long to do those sections. They needed
those cars.
You had to hit each car 4 times, and maybe I just don't know the subtleties of that yet. I'm not that good at it. I haven't done a lot of the challenges related to that aspect of the game, but it was the least fun to me intuitively. I haven't said my stance. I absolutely love this game. I think I played it nonstop for 5 days until I invoked. Is it Nightfall?
I think that's what it's called.
I'm so far removed from the game, I can't remember.
Yeah. Nightfall Protocol, bud.
But I think in terms of a sandbox game, it is so good at contextualizing side missions through a villain. So the what's his face?
Like Pyro.
Riddler, obviously, Penguin.
Yeah.
There's always, you're working towards something with these side missions. It's not, like an Assassin's Creed game, there's similar types. There's assassinations, there's all these things, and it just doesn't feel like you're working towards something other than 100% game completion. Within this game, it feels like even within that pocket of gameplay, you're working towards a goal.
Well, and you kind of get like a story element for
Exactly.
each side mission is actually feels like a real like
It's a chapter.
game mission, right? Like you don't have to do them. You can just play through the main storyline. But if you do those side missions, you're getting kind of either a background on a character or you're,
I don't know. Some of them are just, diffuse this many bombs or
I'm with
whatever.
I'm with
yeah,
Dwyer.
those ones.
Those
ones aren't
the
that
side
great, but
missions are the worst part of this game. I don't know what you guys are talking about with the Batmobile combat. The side missions, there's just so much fluff. Like the firefighter missions. How many fucking firefighters do I need to find?
4. There's only 4.
No, there was.
the
way
fire.
more.
Oh, sorry.
Firefighters.
I'm
I just finished that last night.
no,
with
I'm
the
talking-
firefighter
Not
part.
Firefly. That's the same.
No,
thing 4
firefighters.
times,
I
though.
realize that. Yeah. But at least there's like a motivating factor and a story element. It's not just complete fluff. The other ones are complete fluff, I agree. And if I had one other criticism to the side missions, it's that specifically the Azrael and the Man-Bat or whatever.
Man-Bat, yeah.
The tells to find them need to be better.
Oh, yeah.
I just looked up wikis.
Barely
Yeah,
hear the bat. I managed to do on my own,
Just use
but
the radio.
only by chance. By chance, walking or flying past the sound effect, and then you turn on your, and that's another. The only thing that really, I've got a bunch of things, but one of the things that really bothers me about this game, even though I loved it, I totally did love it, was that you do end up, and I found this in the first game too, or the first 2 or whatever. Night vision. You end up spending half the game in detective mode because the things you're looking for. It would be pointless to fly around and hope you see it without seeing the glowing things, right? So as soon as you hear that, for example, the Man-Bat, you literally just fly around the city for 20 minutes with night vision on until you see the orange giant thing flying around the city, right?
Yeah, the Man-Bat one for me, that I didn't really have to search him out. I'd just be flying, like I'd be going doing other stuff, and then all of a sudden I'd see him, and then that's when I'd kind of diverge and do that mission. But I had a problem with the murder victims one, like the pig.
Oh, I still haven't finished
Professor
that one.
Pig or whatever.
Oh,
And
yeah.
the one there was one that I found like all the other ones, and then there was one left, and it's like, go here. This is where they hear it, and you get there, and I hear the music, and I'm like looking around, like I can't find this, and I did it like for like a good week of every once in a while going back and checking there, and then finally, like I think a couple days ago, I'm like, hey, I think that's that, and that 2 pixels I see down there in that distance, and so I flew over to it, and sure enough, that's where it was. But
I had a problem like that too with the Firefly mission. I told Frank about it even. I was like, I'm quitting this game. It's fucking bullshit. Basically, it says the tooltip, I guess the written tooltip was different than the pointer. Like, you know how you get like the icon will tell you where to go in 53 meters type thing? For the Firefly, and it said, this Bristol fire station is on fire. So when I had intel, I'd click on that and it would give me the waypoint. I'd go to the waypoint and it wasn't the right fire station. I'm assuming it was a bug of some kind, because literally I eventually found Bristol fire station and it was on the other side of the map. So I don't know why it was giving me the wrong waypoint, but it was taking me to a fire station, but where the tracker was, I couldn't get to it. Like there was no, like it wasn't like, hey, turn on, power the fire system.
I'd always stay like up in the air, because
Right.
then when you got to the area, you'd see smoke like in the distance,
Right.
of the building being on fire. That was kind of the tell.
I still don't
for me
think
for
I
that one.
finished the firefighter one, but
And my other complaint with the side missions would be Riddler trophies this time around.
the worst.
I like them, except for the photograph ones. I think some of them were impossible to ever figure out without looking it up. And the photograph ones just aren't as interesting as the ones in Arkham Asylum, where you'd line up a question mark, where they were perspective puzzles and stuff like that. I don't know why they got rid of that. I thought those were great, and I liked anyone where it was a puzzle with the tech. my general nitpicky complaint was they should tell you on the map or somehow if you take a photo of the Riddler trophy, it should be red if you don't have everything you need to do it yet.
Right.
Because they are really tricky, and sometimes you realize, oh, I did have everything I needed to do that. I just didn't know it, and it was more on me to figure out the puzzle. And I don't know why they just don't say, you know what, don't bother, don't waste your time, you can't do this yet. Yeah. Or you see it green and you still can't figure it out. You'd be, oh my God, they're telling me I can do this right now. I can't figure it out. I'm a dumbass. And that's incentive for puzzle solving. And it would make it less frustrating doing that stuff.
Did any of you guys find, this is something that I realized, I'll come up with really stupid little side things this whole conversation, but I think I only used that, what's the bat cable that shoots the horizontal line? I think I only used that one time in this game that you needed to use it and never again. Whereas in the other game, that when they introduced that weapon, you use it all the time. Like you use it like for the entire game almost.
Even just to get, like,
that was almost all the
navigate
tools
in the first one. Like just in the first one, just to navigate in some of the levels. Like I'm thinking of like the sewer parts.
Yeah, you needed it to get from place to place.
From here to here, I have to.
But in this one, you didn't even touch it.
Yeah,
and like
that was.
There's probably.
I was gonna say that's one of the things I was really disappointed about this game is the level design in general was really lacking. Like in the gadget use, it relied really heavily on just combat and not even
and
really
your grapple claw getting somewhere.
Yeah, like you were
it was very
mentioning the
Batmobile
line launcher, but like even the bat claw. I
only ever used bat claw to get trophies.
Yeah, just to get the. And then like even in the other games, you would had that freeze blob thing, and in this game, I missed it when it was like on the side table in your hideout. And I didn't even get it till the very end of the game. And
I still don't have it. There's a freeze ray in
there's a freeze ray. It's like on the side table in the one of the places. Yeah, it's like it doesn't even tell you.
Do you need
there.
that for something?
You need it just for Ridley trophies.
So, to get certain things. You didn't invoke Ghost Protocol?
No, I have not because I'm now at the point where I finished the main storyline, and painfully and I'll go into another thing that I hate about this game, but I still love it. Was that. Now I'm finding it I spend 10 minutes back on the game because there's no kind of like reason to fight anything anymore. I'm just doing Riddler trophies right now, and I think I need the last pyro guy or something like that, right? And then that's it. So now it's kind of like stumbling around looking for Riddler trophies that I can't find or whatever, and driving around in the Batmobile, and nothing fights me anymore unless I just go and beat up some thugs for fun. Right? And at that point, for me, like I said, combat for me is the main thrust of what I like to play in these games, which is where I say is the biggest downfall of this game is no training simulator. Taking out the training simulator thing where you could just fight waves and waves and waves of bad guys.
It's called the AR missions.
Yeah, but you can still...
You do the AR missions.
But where you fly to the top of the roof and you play as Azrael and take on some guys, you can do that as Batman.
Yeah, I think so.
Oh well, then the game's perfect.
It's in the main menu. You go like under where.
So it's like the old games where you can just do.
There's like
thousands of like stars,
like all the Predator missions and all that kind of stuff.
Sorry, I've been swearing a lot. Is this?
And it even tells you like if you can get like say 6 stars on a map or whatever, and it'll be on there and it'll be like Frank has 4 stars.
Well, no, I've done that. I've beaten 6. Frank's. I own every melee challenge. Like I crushed.
Yeah, I didn't do them. How are you doing on the Batmobile challenges?
I don't even bother because they're shit.
Well, I haven't.
Well, then you know where there's. It's
okay.
Not
so AR missions,
it's
just... not the same ones as in the game, right? Because I mean, I know the ones that you walk through the game, you'll see the stars for like the combat stuff. I've done all that and 3-starred that shit. I want to do like round 1 fighting thugs as Batman, kind of like you could in Wayne Manor back in the Batcave.
I don't know for sure.
I don't know if they're. Yeah, I'm not sure if they're not the same as the ones in the game, but you can definitely like go into the challenge menu at the
okay. I'm gonna try
part of the thing, and like it either jumps you right to the spot in the game or it's a separate.
Because if that's the case, then if it's just like a straight up like gladiatorial thing, like it was in City and stuff like that, where you could just do VR training and just like keep going as many levels until you died, then I'm down for that. But if it's like just taking you to the spots in the game where you do combat VR stuff, I've already done it all, and I've already top scored all that shit with all my friends, so it doesn't matter.
And just to something you had mentioned earlier, who the fuck wants to drive with the Batmobile through Riddler's sewer challenge bullshit?
Yeah, I know you 3-starred it. It's great.
No, I love those. I love
They're
the
awful.
idea of making a racing game a puzzle. I thought that was a new idea. I've never done that before.
That's
I
the worst
enjoyed
for me
it.
because it takes hard to drive shit anyway, and putting in a puzzle element, I wanted to rip my fucking nuts.
The one
off.
thing that isn't great with that is driving up the sides of walls.
I agree, 100%. What about the Riddler one where you have to, and then the ceilings are stamping down when you have to be up on the worst. It was the worst.
It was a joke. I think I did on my first try.
Yeah, well, good for you, bud. Because you know what? I did it on like my 3,000th try. And the worst part is when you get to the very end,
So if
and then
it was
crash
that
on
terrible,
an easy
why
part,
did you try
and
it
then have to go
3,000
back through-
times?
What's that?
If it was that terrible, why did you do it 3,000 times?
Because I needed to finish the story. That was part of the story.
No, it wasn't.
No,
the first time you go
Those
through
are
it's the
optional.
story.
Just the first one is the only one you need to
Yeah.
do.
So I didn't get through it.
You couldn't do the first one?
Trust me, anything I did
maybe
in
he's
the car
talking about-
was
are
for
you-
the story. Trust me, I never went and hit one of the buttons to start up that
Are you talking
VR
about
challenge.
the Arkham Knight story part, like where he's chasing you and you have to?
That is annoying.
The one in the
I'll go
tunnels
into
was
that
one
too.
of the worst boss fights in the game. I
It
thought.
was. That was terrible. I agree. But no, I'm talking about the one where you're. I think it's Catwoman stuff. To finish rescue
Riddler.
Catwoman,
Yeah,
you had
that's
to
a
do a
side
lot of
mission.
Batman driving stuff.
Yeah, that's a side mission. That's the Joker stuff.
No, Riddler.
It's a side mission.
The Riddler.
The Riddler
Sorry.
stuff, yeah.
Yeah.
So yeah, I was doing it because I thought if I unlock Catwoman, I mean, like that I would get to play Catwoman, but it turns out you don't. So whatever.
Oh, you just said you only did the story stuff, and clearly.
I assumed that was story. Sorry.
Well, now you're just proving my point. That the side
sorry.
mission stuff felt like a story in its own. Right, Darosh?
I agree.
Fair
You know,
enough.
my favorite part, one of my favorite things is that when you go into certain areas, I like the seamless kind of like it will give you the dialogue, like you're picking up on your radio, like say the boss yelling at you or this guy, and come here and you can do this and that. I thought it was really well integrated that way.
And can we talk about how cool the Joker integration was?
I
when you
agree.
Yeah.
walk around and all of a sudden he's like sitting there talking to you.
I loved
scared
it.
the shit out of me a couple times.
Oh,
Yeah,
don't,
so
let's not
good.
talk about jump scares because it was fucking crazy. And the Joker, I love it makes the game way more interesting.
Yeah.
From a narrative perspective, but it doesn't make any fucking sense to me. Like, what, this guy's talking to Joker all the time in his head? Where does this come from? He's Batman. He's not an idiot.
Well, there's always been a thing about how Batman is insane himself, and that he and Joker have a lot in common, right? So,
Right.
Well,
I guess. I just thought it was a little too much. I can't see this guy.
Yeah, but didn't he start showing up after he was sprayed by
I
the
think you guys
the
are
poison
missing
stuff?
Yeah. The Joker
main
toxin or
one of the main
Yeah.
plot points of the game.
Maybe, yeah.
That explains exactly why the Joker's showing up.
yeah, it's what Dax just said, I think.
No,
No,
Spoiler.
it's haunting. There's something about the Joker is haunting him.
No,
Yeah, but it's not just haunting,
The Joker
bud.
toxin.
Yeah, it's pretty early in the game. If you haven't,
Yeah, I haven't played for a while.
yeah, it's pretty early in the game. But they give. I mean, I thought all that was handled really well.
I like the story too. It just felt a bit. I'm willing to accept it for the new things it brings to the video game narrative, but
I felt like
I didn't think
there was a section in
was
there
that
where
well
it almost like switched gears completely, and the Arkham Knight came in, and then like it felt like there was this rough patch in the middle there. I can't really put because like Frank, I played it a while ago, but it felt like it was going in one direction, and you're doing all these side kind of like things related to the Joker, like trying to track down the Joker dudes, and then all of a sudden that just like abruptly ends, and the Arkham Knight comes in. Am I making that up or?
Yeah, I get what you're saying. I had almost forgotten that the Arkham Knight was such a big part of the story.
Yeah, it was for
And
the first
the
half or something.
I feel like the reveal of who that was going to be much bigger than what it ended up being.
Yeah.
Did you see the twist coming? This is what I want to know. Did you see it?
No.
I think you'd have to
I did.
know that storyline, right?
No, I didn't know the storyline at all. I just figured that that's what it was going to be, and it turned out to be. Did you figure it out? No.
I don't know who that character is.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
That's what I mean. You'd have to kind of know the Batman.
No, I just know the character's like name. Like I know who. You know what I mean? It's not like
I didn't know. I thought it was going to be something way more obvious
Oh.
to the actual context of the story you're in,
Yeah.
not something from Batman mythology.
oh okay.
Me too.
And it was going to be like, make sense. It was going to, oh, of course. Because it feels like a mystery movie in a sense that you see all these other characters in the game through the side missions and other things, and even Gordon, and there's all these characters in the game, and the whole time in my head I'm playing the game, who's actually the Arkham Knight? It felt like a mystery movie, and I'm like, who are they going to reveal as the Arkham Knight the whole time? And you're like, oh, it could be them, and spoiler alert, it's none of them.
Yeah, and it could have been maybe more impactful had they, like in Arkham City, introduced
Yeah.
that the character who it ended up being. Like, if that character would have been
Yeah, you remember him from a
Arkham
previous
City,
game or something. Yeah.
like the rest of the story is continuous from that game. So I think if they would have introduced that character, or even had like what happened to him in that game, like that ties into the story, it would have made
Except that
more
like
sense.
one cutscene. That's
Yeah, like, well, he wasn't in Arkham City at all, right?
No,
And then they just
Just
kind of explain it in this, saying this is what happened in the interim between these two games. But I think it would have been more effective had they actually included that stuff in Arkham City, knowing that, okay, we are going to make a third one.
Yeah, and also, if I've said it once, I've said it a million times, I certainly do not play video games for the story. Like, not a lot of games have done amazing stories to me. They are few and far between. I'd say this is one of the better ones. But I'm not crazy about realistic character designs for the most part. Like real world character designs, I tend to like more cartoony stuff or just fantasy ideas. But I love the character designs of this game rooted in reality. We've seen so many versions of all these characters in other Batman movies, cartoons, comic books, whatever. Less comic books for me, but I still think they have awesome ideas for those characters, and I think they're all equally as good as the ones I've seen in movies. And I think they're all great. And even when you're unlocking bios and stuff like that, those concept arts for those characters and how they match their implementation in the game is perfect. I think they create the world of the game through the characters and the audio, and I think it's very well done.
the one thing about the storytelling aspect of the game I didn't really like is they seem to rely really heavily on that like talking arm crutch. Like it seemed like it was constantly pulling up and you'd have to watch him talking to Alfred or whoever. That happened just so often. I felt like there could have been other ways to tell the story than constantly relying on his like back communicator arm video thing. It just seemed to come up so often. It got annoying to me. Well, not annoying, but I was just like, I thought there had to be a better way to do it. And that was the only thing for me really that stood out from the story aspect that, well, other than introducing the final guy. But
we haven't talked about this. How does everyone feel about the scrubbing or real-time detective
that was
work
neat.
in the
Once
game?
you figured out, I found that pretty neat.
That was
Why did we even
was there only one?
hear you say?
I thought there was about 4.
Yeah, there was a few, but it wasn't. I thought there was more in the previous.
Yeah, in Origins.
Well, yeah.
In Origins,
I'd say there's maybe 3 of that in this game, and then 2 or 3 of just the video ones where you're picking the squares in the video.
Oh, are you talking about when it's like reenacting the whole crime?
Yeah.
Yeah, that was wicked. Yeah, I thought that was really neat.
And that was in Origins, which everyone
liked.
Pissed on.
I like
and I thought that
Origins.
was and everyone complained about the first 2. Batman's not a detective. Every complaint for every Batman thing ever is Batman's a detective. No one makes him a detective.
Right.
And this game finally added a reason or a mechanic to make him more of a detective. And no one said, "Oh, that's great!
Origins.
Wow, you've made Batman a detective."
Yeah.
Yes, exactly. Origins added it, and this game expanded.
Wait a
upon
minute.
it.
Maybe I did play. Is Origins where you get the electro gloves?
Yeah.
I did play Origins then. I love that game.
Yeah.
It was great.
Of course.
Sean, I haven't heard your opinion yet. Do you like this game?
It's good. It's the worst of the 4 for me.
Whoa!
Yeah.
This guy's cuckoo.
It kind of ended up being what I was afraid it would be. Like they kind of just had to add something new, so they added the Batmobile, and I was impressed with what they did with the combat, like the free flowing tank combat. I like that stuff, but I really didn't like any of the other stuff. I felt like the traversal of the city using the Batmobile took away from the game. Like you were constantly being forced to do that. You're being forced to use the Batmobile for a lot of puzzle stuff that was just so awkward and ridiculous at times. Like, you know, there's something early in the game where you're on a rooftop trying to drive across like a tightrope or something, and it's just like, what is going on here? This is the worst.
I agree. The Batmobile stuff is annoying.
Well, the one Riddler trophy where you're following a trail of Joker question marks.
I still can't figure those out.
They are a pain in the fucking ass. And all they had to do was not have them like retract. You always, once you make progress to something, it stays there.
Right.
It's
Is
so
that how
easy.
it works? Because I see it go up the side of a hill, and then I don't know what to do after that. And I'm like, oh, this
it's
is
like
fantastic.
you have to figure
Thank
out how
you.
to get there fast enough to catch up with the Joker trail.
Is that what
before-
it is?
Yeah.
That's the stupid. See, this is why I won't get Nightfall.
Oh my god, it's a joke.
You're a
seconds.
joke.
But yeah, I mean, like, I guess the other thing I have to bring up, and maybe this is a stupid thing, but you know, Dan, you're a big Batman fan. Like, there's a lot of points in the game where you have the Batmobile and you're driving a tank and you're shooting missiles at people, and it's like, this does not feel like Batman. Like,
Yeah,
Those are like dummy rounds, bud. Those are police rounds. when you're
I
shooting
know they
people.
explain away, like you drive into somebody, they just get electric shocked or
those
whatever.
Are unmanned drones.
And yeah, unmanned drones. Like, it's all pretty lame. It doesn't, I don't know, something about it just felt weird to me.
I do agree with that, and including like you drive over the people, like,
Yeah.
right? Like, it's Batman. Maybe doesn't want to kill, like, he doesn't kill people, and so okay, there's explaining away the round, like the gun part of it, but it's like, how do they explain the fact that you just drove over the guy at 200 mile an hour? Right? Like, nobody's surviving that, no matter how electrocuted he gets when he
That
touches
didn't bother me,
the Batmobile,
but I
right?
get what you're
Like,
saying. It makes continuity wise.
like, I agree, like that part is kind of dumb, right? And it's kind of unfortunate. Like, how do they?
But that's what happens when you introduce a rocket car into a game where there's
into an
going to be
open world
people
game where
walking
there's
around.
people wandering around, right?
yeah.
Like, it's like, what?
I will go on the record as saying I could give less of a fuck if Batman kills people. Kill all the people you want.
Kill
I don't know
all
why
the
this
peoples.
is so beholden, this cherished property of Batman. Who fucking cares? Kill everyone.
He doesn't kill people, bud.
Or
That's
kill
his
the
thing.
bad guys.
That's his thing.
I know, but who cares? It's a video game.
But it's not just that. Like, it's not
so
an
arbitrary.
Arkham game, I guess, is what I was feeling like for a lot of the game. Like, because
You don't
of
think
so
when he's
much
breaking
of the,
guys' kneecaps and doing these moves in combat that he's not killing people here and there? You think he might
Well,
accidentally
I-
hit somebody in the temple?
I've certainly joked about it when we talked about previous games, but I just think the tank element brings it to a whole other level of ridiculousness. But
Well, if you killed people as the tank with Batman, that's on you. You're not embodying
The spirit.
the
you're not-
spirit of Batman.
You're not
the one who's a
RPing
hypocrite.
Batman.
I don't mind killing them. Who cares? But you don't have to kill those people with the Batmobile. You can avoid them.
You know how
You
slow
are
you'd have to
not
drive
Batman.
through the city to avoid everyone? Excuse me, pardon me. Excuse me.
You can avoid them.
Beep, beep.
Batmobile
You
needs
could
a
just be
horn to
killing
tell
on
When
man.
you're flying through the city chasing those fucking military drones and you're
There's no one in those.
destroying
Those are
people.
unmanned drones.
Dude, I'm talking about the poor bastards that are walking around the city.
There's never anyone around during the drone fights. Ever.
The
you're
car, the
also
militia cars that
destroying
you're chasing?
buildings like crazy, but that's
You're destroying
The
buildings.
city has been evacuated, Dwyer.
yeah, but
Oh,
you're
let's
just
talk about-
destroying
Can we
shit
talk
all the
about-
time. Like,
We're not allowed to talk spoiler stuff, right? 'Cause
Well, that's at the beginning of the game.
No, I'm talking about, like, I want to bring up the part that, like, I remember messaging you as it was happening. I'm like, this is the greatest thing in video games I've ever seen in my life.
I don't even know what you're talking about.
I feel like we're not spoiling, right? Clouds?
I
I'll say
feel-
clouds. I'll say yellow
yeah.
clouds.
Oh, that yeah. I want to talk about that.
Oh
Like,
my
it's
god,
amazing.
beautiful! Oh,
You're talking about like just standing around and looking at stuff in the
Yeah,
city.
that
When that
was-
happens,
that was a complete feast for thine eyes. That whole, yeah,
there we go.
yeah,
Feast for thine eyes.
feast for thine eyes.
That's exactly what
It was. When it happened, I was like, this is the greatest thing I've ever seen in my life in video games.
Yeah.
It was amazing.
yeah. The other thing, did you guys not find that it was pretty weak in terms of boss fights? Like, I always thought boss fights were a strength of these games, and
I know in Arkham City, I remember the boss fights being very good. I specifically remember the
Bane
Mr.
was
Freeze
good.
one. I think the Sandman one. Is it Sandman or some?
Sandman's Marvel, I think.
Scarecrow.
Right, but what's the name? No, there's another one with what's the name of the guy? He's like made out of mud or something.
Mudman.
He's like this big mud dude.
Clayface.
Clayface, yeah.
Fucking Clayface, yo. That's who I'm talking about. And it's I remember those boss fights and they were pretty good. And I agree with Sean. The boss fights in this the boss fights are in the realm of the Batmobile.
They are. A lot
which
of them
if
have
you
to
don't
do
like
the Batmobile, yeah.
That sucks. And
That is annoying.
I agree. The one in the tunnels, not all that hot.
Funny, that's like
You
the
know?
only one I remember though. What
Yeah,
are
I
some of the other
agree.
ones?
I mean, just the stealth ones where you're like, it's the stealth combat with the Batmobile where you have to shoot guys in the back and on the side of the vehicles.
That is
There's
the most
the other
annoying thing
boss
ever.
fight with the Arkham Knight after you know who he is.
Oh yeah, I didn't like that one either.
Oh, it's a stealth fight.
It's like you're attacking other guys and then you kind of attack him.
Yeah.
But it's like
pretty
you can't be in his line of sight or you just die. Kind of like it's
Yeah, that was brutal.
silly.
Yeah, I agree. The boss fights are...
I actually do. I can't remember fist fighting boss fights in this game. Were there?
No.
I remember in
don't
the
think so.
last game, I remember playing Bane was a lot of fun. Like the crocodile guy was a lot of fun in the game where you're in the sewers and you have to step on the wood and stuff like that. Like,
Yeah.
that was really great.
Yeah,
But I
the
don't
Bane
remember there
stuff
being-
used to be good where you'd ride on the back, like you'd latch on and
Right.
use that
Yeah.
character to hit other ones.
Yeah.
I mean, these games are solid, but I actually give them credit for not using every idea from previous games.
Right.
Like, it's still...
That's true. You know, it doesn't feel like I found that was a huge problem with Assassin's Creed. Like once they started getting into I can't remember which one it was, but I think it was when Ezio was older and they started adding just more and more moves to the list. It just actually for me got frustrating. Like I'm a huge Assassin's Creed fan, but once you got into like jumping over, volleying over people, and then using that hook thing to slide places, I didn't even finish that game. I finished every Assassin's Creed but that game because I was just like I just got frustrated with the amount of things you have to do and know.
But the only thing this game does do that with, although it subtracts some things too, it's not too overwhelming. They add a lot of new things to the combat because obviously for people who've played every game in the series, if you're good at the combat already, it would be pretty boring continuing your level of expertise from the last game. So they always have to add wrinkles to combat to learn. And I thought the way they added some stuff to the actual combat, but it was more the setup to combat, like using the disruptor to tag weapons and hack things and do things like that to set up a battle situation to be in your advantage at the time. And I know the one thing you were so mad about too was some of the actual side missions where you have to destroy the group of guys and take out you have to blow up their, I can't remember what they're called, the militia towers or something like that. Mm-hmm. And some you have to do something first to unlock it and drop the wall so you can go in with the Batmobile.
Right.
It was not obvious what you had to do in those situations.
No, because you know what? One of those I did over and over and over until I finally managed to do it just as me with no Batmobile, and it was the worst. Like, it was...
I was in the same boat. I remember that one specifically, it has a lot of like those super big gun turrets, right?
Yep.
I remember
and there's nowhere to perch. You're looking for a place to perch, and you can't find anywhere.
Well, I remember I upgraded my whatever is the disruptor, the one that blows those up as soon as they fire. And I shot I think there was 8 of them. I would shoot 3, and then I couldn't figure out, and then I got those to explode, and then I couldn't figure out how to reload my disruptor. So I would actually go and do other missions and wait for it to reload, and then come back and shoot 3 more.
That's probably how Batman intended it.
Yeah, probably.
I'll be right back.
But yeah, that one was pretty brutal.
I actually thought the one thing in combat was buggy, the jump attack, where you had to press double tap A or do the...
From out of the car?
No, on the shield guys. The thing where you have how you attack the shield guys.
Yeah.
A little too complex. And
I found that was
not
really tricky when those guys with the shot gloves were around.
Yeah.
And they start hitting you while you're trying to do all that crap, and then it just...
Yeah, there was some tough stuff. My biggest hate in combat that they added were those fucking red guys.
The samurai
that would
guys
just,
with the swords?
No, those guys they were annoying in the other game that I
the
played them in
charging
too. I
guys?
hated the sword guys. And we'll get onto the whole blade dodging thing because you guys need to teach me this, but we'll get onto that in a second because I hated that. The red guys, the red exclamation guys that would charge you.
Oh, yeah.
Those guys that they added in this game, I played last night, and I'm pretty good at the combat now. You know, from my perspective, I'm
If you can't
pretty
handle
decent.
those
and
guys,
they
that's
still
a
hit
debatable
me.
statement.
They still hit me. What's that?
Double tap A. Just dodge out of the
No,
way.
I know, but I'm just saying they still I mean, the window to get that double tap A. I mean, trust me, I'm flipping over them all the time.
Well, no,
but there are times when I'm feeling great about a combo. I'm feeling great about a combo chain, and then some asshole from across the street will charge in and hit you. And
if you batarang them, though,
that's true. You can't batarang them and knock them down. Yeah.
But the problem is that sometimes, whereas all the other guys are pretty good about telegraphing your stuff, they're telegraphing off screen
8 miles away,
and you're fighting over here, and then all of a sudden you get knocked over, and you're like, what the hell? Like, there needs to be some other type of
I thought the cheapest guys for that were the big bruiser guys because there's a very small window for countering those attacks.
Yeah.
And I mean, when I think back on it, I think it was just, I feel like my view of the game is slightly clouded because I really didn't play Origins all that much. It was been a while since I played Arkham City. So I think I was just really in the mood for this game again. Mm-hmm. And that's why I played the shit out of it for a week, essentially.
It was great. It was immersive.
I was just addicted to it.
Yeah.
It was the first time I'd been addicted to a game in a long time. I'm like, I have to finish this game. I am doing everything in this game, and no one's stopping me. And, I mean, that's a testament to a game anytime that happens. But there are imperfections to the game. That is undeniable, and annoyances for sure. And I will say, my game crashed for me several times.
Oh, mine too.
Ooh.
Yeah, mine crashed as well. And I find that is even more frustrating on a console game because it feels like I don't know. Like I guess you're used to it in a PC or like a computer kind of game where there's like some kind of system error, or crash, or whatever. It just happens. But for me, I mean, I can probably count the amount of times a game has crashed on a console for me on two hands in my life. So when it happens, it's like, are you fucking kidding me?
It happens a lot for me now. I get it all the time.
Let's not even go there with the Shadows of Mordor. Oh my god. I stopped playing that game. I was so stoked for Mordor. I got it on PS3 when they released it. I tell all the junkers out there, do not buy that game for PS3. They knew it wasn't going to work, but they fucking did it anyway. They took my 70 bone. That game, I've never seen so much lag in a game. Like literally, the cinematics start with frame 1, pause, and then end at the last frame. The guys,
I think
during
my
talking
friend
sequences
worked on the PS3 version. Actually,
it's brutal. Like it's literally, and that game would crash on me probably 2 times a night. Like just like straight up crash, like hard crash. And when characters were like loading in, like during the dialogue sequences, it was all like how you could see every level of the meshes loading in, right? I mean, I can get past that stuff, but when the game's actually crashing when guys are on the screen, I was just like, what is it? It's as if I'm playing on like dial-up.
I still, on almost every Xbox game, have texture load in. Like the different qualities of the texture loading in real time. I see that stuff all the time.
I haven't seen that on Xbox One yet. I haven't seen that yet.
Oh, I even get it on Halo Master Chief Collection all the time, too.
Back to the combat
sorry,
1 second.
The
one thing I liked that they added was if a guy's dazed on the ground, now you can just stand over him and punch him instead of doing that like flip punch thing, getting locked into that.
It still does the flip punch thing to me, doesn't it?
You can still
or is
do
that if you're far away?
You can still do that, but if you just hit punch while you're near him on the ground, he will punch him until he's out. Which
really?
I think
didn't know
this
that.
is the first time they had that.
Yeah, it's not an insta-kill, though.
No.
Right, when you do trigger and Y,
it does the kill.
It's like they're knocked out. But Huck's saying if you're over a guy and you just want until someone comes to you, you can just keep wailing on.
Are you serious? I never did that.
I think so.
Yeah, you can.
That's
But
cool.
it's only like 2 or 3 more punches. But it's nice because if you're in a big group and like a guy is coming at you, you're not locked into this like jump up and then punch him animation. You can kind of like hit him once, keep him down, hit the other guys, come back, hit him again.
I'm gonna have to try that.
The other thing was, those big guys with the guns? Are those new to this game?
I think so. I wasn't crazy about them.
Because I got killed a lot of times in some of the watchtowers that they were in because I would not get them, distracted enough from the other people and then get locked into this 10-second long counter animation thing that's going on. And that I had to redo a ton of those watchtowers because I would forget to kill some other guy with a gun, and then this guy, and I'd be stuck in this like counter constant animation thing with this guy. That was kind of frustrating. But the one thing we haven't touched on is the like switching character combo things that are in some of the little mini rooms. I think the Penguin has them with Nightwing.
Oh, I love those.
Yeah, and you do them
I really love those.
I think with Catwoman too.
Yeah, you do it with Catwoman and you do it with Nightwing.
Yeah, so
when you switch members.
So you're fighting,
it was the greatest.
and then you hit
flawless.
Even you can kind of do it with the Batmobile when the guys turn blue, you can hit like the Batmobile button. The
Yeah,
Batmobile
but that's on a
shoots them.
charge up or something like that, right? But I mean, this one's much more fluid. Then you get to play as that character. It's great. I thought it was so much fun.
Yeah, that was a really neat addition. Really fluid too. Worked well.
Yeah.
Love that cat.
So speaking, just let me get my last gripe in about the combat. Because of, I don't know if it was Origins or the game before that, but knife countering, like the guys who do the 1, 2, 3 with the knife. I remember back then getting the combo where you could destroy the weapon because I fucking hated doing the big fights where like you need to get those weapons out of the way because they're annoying. So the first thing I spent points on in this game was the knife break counter or something like that. Not once was I able to do it in this game. So all I did was just hold back and the 3 attacks happen and then punch him normally. How did you do that bullshit? Like hold back, let go. When did you have to do that in between each attack? Like how did that work?
I don't know. I just hold back the whole time.
No, but I'm talking about the counter, which
I didn't
breaks
unlock that. I don't
instantly
do that.
disarms the knife. Do any of you guys know what I'm talking about? This Huck and
on that yet.
We just man up and hold back. And
that's not manning up. I want to do the fucking bam, break that arm, broken knife. I want that shit. I don't want the 1, 2, 3.
That's a nice breather for me. I'm not doing something like
I want
okay, I know I have a few seconds to make my next decision while I'm holding back with Y.
I don't need those decisions. I want to be able to.
Well, you know what? Since everyone's bragging here, let's put our dicks on the table. What difficulty did everyone play this game on? Because difficulty was not a factor for achievement, so we're going to find out where the real gamers are right now.
Normal.
I don't think I changed mine.
Yeah, just regular.
I think mine's normal.
Am I the only one who played on hard?
Obviously.
Probably.
You're probably the only person in the world that played on
Yeah,
it.
the only person in the world that played on hard. Because why would you do that?
I usually play like
Because
on
you got
the
to get
lowest
ready for
setting.
New Game Plus mode without tells. You got to get good.
No tells in the combat. You played the whole game with no tells.
No. New Game Plus is hard mode with no
I agree,
tells.
and I tried that on the last game. The whatever, what'd you call it? Was the last game Origins? I tried it, and it was impossible. Without seeing that little blue thing, you're dead. There's no way.
Was it Asylum had New Game Plus as well? I think, right?
Same
thing.
I don't think so.
You could play it again with no.
That's like
tells
playing
at the
Resident
end.
Evil.
So I did that on Asylum
just the
because
knife.
I love that game. But now the way I play games is I find the easiest setting I can put it on, and I usually play it at that setting.
Ooh,
Okay,
I don't
it's-
do that.
It's
as fast as
tangent
possible.
time. It's tangent
I do
time.
not do that.
So, I mean, we've only got so many years in our lives, right? And I'm looking at all these games. Dwy guy, he knows what I'm talking about.
I think you
You have all these games you've bought and are never playing. And at one point, you got to ask yourself, is it worth torturing myself playing on hard to get all the achievements when I could just be playing on lower difficulties and be enjoying more games and taking less time?
Absolutely.
And I got to admit, I'm getting there. I can't squeeze it out of the system yet. The poison's still in there. I can't get it out. But for Dragon Age,
You dropped that bad boy?
I'm like, you know what? Hard is just too hard. I'm going to normal. I don't give a shit. I'll never get that achievement. It's a 50-hour commitment to the game. I'll never do it again. Oh, well. And you know what?
Wow.
Sometimes I do have trouble sleeping at night. I'll be honest.
That's called recovery, bud. You're in recovery.
I still think about it. And sometimes I'm like, am I going to regret not doing that? Should I have played the game on easy on Xbox 360 or PS4 so that when I played it on the other one? But then I'm like, you're not going to play this game twice. What the hell are you talking about? These are the sick discussions
You have a sickness.
I have with myself
You do have a sickness.
about playing games. And then I spend more time prepping to play the game and doing appropriate achievement research
Right.
than just enjoying the game.
Exactly. It's called a game for a reason. Game.
I know.
Enjoyment.
Game.
I'm admitting.
Game.
And I agree. I do have a problem. I'm trying to work on that. It's tough.
It's a 3-step program.
But it's weird to me that Batman, I had no motivation to play on hard. Literally none. The achievements were the exact same. I was getting nothing other than, I don't know, being cool and playing on
Right.
hard.
Bragging
so I could
rights.
come
Bragging
on Game
rights. For
Jump
this exact
and say,
reason
oh,
right
hey,
now."
losers, I played on hard.
Yeah,
What'd you do?
exactly.
Which you did. How did it feel?
Which exactly.
Nice word.
And that's why I'm bringing this up. And it's like, was it worth it?
So you
And
just
at
came
the
to the
end of the
realization now that it wasn't worth it.
At the end of the day, it was totally worth it. It was worth it just for this conversation, for the junkers out there. So I think the problem will remain for at least 4 more years, minimum. And I just think, in general, I work in games. If I was making a game, the last thing I'm going to do is have difficulty achievements. It would also be in my least interest to have difficulty levels in a game. I just don't. I'm not down with that.
You know what I tend to like are the games that kind of ramp up difficulty with your ability. Like it kind of like it gauges how well you're doing and ramps it up. I can't remember specific examples, but I know I've played some games.
What Nintendo games have difficulty? None.
Right.
They're the blueprint.
But I find the Batman games already do a good job of that. Like, you're doing combat, especially the first game, right? Arkham Asylum being like, you're just doing the basic counters and basic punches, and then all of a sudden they're adding gadgets and they're adding guys that have different abilities that kind of counter the stuff that you already do. So you have to learn, I need to jump over this guy's head first or whatever, right? And so that, to me, that adds the difficulty, and that's the better way of doing it rather than just making it that, you can take 2 hits or you can take 3 hits. If you lower the difficulty, now you take 4
Playing Ryse on the hardest difficulty got very frustrating.
Yeah, I agree. And this is one where I did. That's the only game that I've ever said, you know what, I'm going to play this on hard right away. So I did Legionary or whatever it was right away. I told you this, and you did that exact same face with me on the microphone when we were talking about it. I beat it on Legionary or whatever like that. But
that's good for you. That's an actual game where I think you are the perfect person to play on Legionnaire because it's all about animation tells, and that's what you do. That's your job. Animations. That's your favorite part about those games.
Right.
Is the subtlety, the magic. You are the Archbishop of animation, and if anything, they designed their hard combat around animation tells and your ability to recognize visual cues and animations.
Right.
So. I mean, I say God bless you. Oh. I think you did a great job, and whatever face I made or you interpreted over the microphone, it's just jokes, bud. I think you did a noble thing.
No. That face was like the wow, good for you face.
Oh,
no,
okay,
no, I got that.
Well, it wasn't that face tonight. It was what the fuck.
Oh, okay. And I read your face wrong. Either way, it was annoying, and I remember it very much having to. It was. That when at that level of difficulty, you had to very much use your focus to heal yourself. First, it was very important to execute people. Like, you basically be guarding until you could get a heal off when them execute. Because once 3 of the guys came at you with the shields and shit, it was like...
Oh, the shield guys? Purple shield guys?
Yeah, it was annoying.
Forget about the worst. Anyway.
Yeah. Let's get off Ryse. Let's get
back to
It's a great game.
Ryse. Great game. See ya. Yeah.
But Batman, we talked about Batman for a long time.
Yeah.
I don't think, Dwyer, I apologize. It feels like the Site B has taken control of Batman. What is Site A saying about Batman
Site
right
A
now?
Batman. Get down with it.
We got a bit from Huck. We didn't get much from...
I feel like Dwight guy is hiding. Did you actually beat Batman, Dwight? You're not saying
I beat the main
much,
storyline.
So you got the 1 minute protocol ending, like I have.
Yeah, like I haven't done
same
the
as me.
Nightfall or whatever.
Yeah.
Okay, what was your favorite thing about the game?
Probably. Well,
He said nothing because he was the worst game out of all 4 of them. He
no,
said.
I mean, I think I was impressed by the tank combat. I thought that was fun and it worked for the most part. But then, probably my least favorite thing in the game was the stupid tank battles where you have to come up behind the tanks. And I felt like it was just wave after wave of those things at a certain point, and it got really annoying.
Yeah.
I agree.
What now? We didn't talk about the jump scares.
Oh, the Joker jump scares.
No, the first one with
The Man-Bat?
Man-Bat.
Yeah, that one.
That is the most effective jump scare in a video game.
I don't remember that one.
Oh
I just
my
remember the
God.
Joker on the
You
tower
like-
one.
Isn't it where you come over the top of a building?
Well,
or
they
something?
pick a time that you're arbitrarily going to fly over some
over top of
building,
a building, and it comes up right.
and
up.
your angle is going to be such that
Yeah.
they know, they have a system for determining
Right.
the perfect time to do this. And I mean, it's not a game where you're expecting a jump scare.
Not at all.
I shit myself. Now that's a jump scare. I'm like, you got me, Batman. You got me. Good on
Yeah,
you.
Joker scared the fuck out of me a couple times
a
in
haunted
that.
house. Wait for me to shit my pants. You got me. I'm down.
There was a couple times during cinematics where he's talking, and you notice if you I was getting scared. I was just turning my character 360 so that I would eventually, because there was a couple times where Joker's not there. They play this whole thing where like, he's talking to you and then he'll just pop into certain sequences, right? So then I started just trying to force that camera shot where he shows up because I knew it was coming because I was getting scared so much of him just kind of sitting there going, oh man.
Hey, Bats.
Yeah, I like.
Sorry, Dwight. Back to you.
Keep moving though. That he would keep relocating to a different position somewhere.
No, it was really well
cool.
done. It was really well done. Scary, but well done.
All right, what do you got, Huck City?
Oh, I was just saying.
What was your general impression of the game? Like, were you a fan?
Yeah, I liked it, but not as much as the other games. I think the big detractors for me were just like the lack of gadget use, like basically level design, the lack of gadget use. There's no line launcher, there's no batarang, there was no using like the ice pellet thing to make an ice raft and then pulling yourself along water like in other things.
That was good times.
Forgot about that.
Yeah, ice raft was
there's
good.
all these other like puzzly type things in all the other games. Even like in this one, probably a little better than in City or maybe Origins, but like using the vent system seemed a little lacking in this one too, as far as like level traversal. It was better than I think City was, but still seemed like it was mostly just like straight line shots through levels and a lot of batarang traversal.
I do find sorry, Huck. I do find that on that note, I found that they made Predator in this one much easier because of those grates that you could instantly shoot up into the rafters with. They were all over the place. I found Predator in this one much easier than I did in the other games to get like, silent kills on people. Unless we can get into this later, but Fear. The Fear kills, multi-kills.
Multi-fear takedown.
Oh, they were amazing.
That's your bread and butter, buddy.
Those were beautiful.
Those were good,
Anyways.
actually. That was. I think the combat still is top notch in this game, though I did get like a little frustrated with some of the ending, almost like combat rooms, like the militia checkpoints or whatever they were, where there was like shield guys and big dudes and guys with batons and guns, like just like a ton of shit going on.
There's near the end there was a fight where you had to use the environment, right? Where you had to like electrocute people. Or
Yeah,
I guess you didn't have
they
to
didn't
do
use that
but
very much.
Yeah.
I found that really hard to use those because you had to wait for them to be like exactly in the right spot.
Yeah, a lot of that was like, I think, or even on top of the police station, there was a big fight like that too, which I think was like considered a boss fight, but because I think that's when they first introduced some of those big guys. But I thought overall the combat was still really good. The Batmobile I really liked, though I hear you guys' complaints about how it's not really Batman-y. I still think that it needed more detective mission stuff. Like, that seems so lacking, and it seemed to add so... Like, the one where she crashes the car and falls out, and you're kind of, like, trying to figure out what happened and where she went. That was so engaging to me. I mean, the ones where you're trying to work out the code and the mirror reflection and stuff, that was pretty neat too, but not as good as the like rewind stuff that was introduced in Origins. Did you guys catch that one? If you go into well, actually I guess I'll just finish, but I still love how they introduce missions, how you're like going around, you just hear like little radio blips, so you don't really know where things are happening. Unless, I think if you progress a certain way through the story, I think Alfred starts notifying you that stuff's going on in certain places, so you can progress those side missions. But
I agree. That happened to me last night. Like, I feel like if you've spent enough time away, like doing nothing, they'll kind of give you a Monster Brew. Some intel came in on the firefighters. Like,
I think that's the case.
Yeah.
It's like after X amount of time, they just start giving you hints.
Yeah, and that's all great. I love
here.
that because it keeps you kind of with stuff to do all the time, and there's no real downtime in this game, which is good. But I do think like too much filler with the firefighters, with the militia, especially there's like a point in the game where you have those militia towers and the militia checkpoints and the APCs driving around, like all this bullshit stuff that really has no meaning. And then I did it all, and then Arkham Knight comes around and almost like retakes over the city, and now you have double the amount to do again. And I was just like, fuck, I thought I was done all this stupid shit. And then you have to do double the amount again. And I just really lost interest in all those side missions at that point. and that was a big detractor for me. I think
I like that point though, Huck, when it's telling you how many you've done, like essentially a completion fraction or percentage, and you think, oh yeah, I'm almost done, and then it just keeps growing and growing to the point where those numbers are meaningless.
Yeah,
completely meaningless.
Yeah, that was
a fucking joke. I hate this. Is the worst game I ever played.
Yeah, so I don't know where it falls. Like when I was, because I think we had a question. There's like a junk mail about this where it ranks, but I think originally I was thinking this might be like number 2 behind Asylum for me, but now that we're kind of discussing it, it might be lower. Like I think I have really hard times remembering the details of City and Origins, which I think Dax and Frank were saying earlier.
Well, I never finished Origins, but I just remember there being a lot of, like, I think the main complaint is that they didn't add a ton of new stuff in it.
Yeah, I think so.
And to me, it's like, well, why is that so bad? And I think we do have a junk mail question maybe related to this, but it's like one of the problems with game sequels is it's like you always got to add new mechanics and there's always got to be something new to do.
And one-up it. You got to one-up it.
And sometimes it's like, well, I don't mind. Just take the same engine and give me a new story. I wouldn't mind that.
Yeah, or take like the detective game mechanic and just do new twists on it. Not even new twists, just new content, new interesting content, new interesting enemy setups with the combat. I think they do that pretty well. But I think this game just went overboard and just tried to make it this massive open world. Where if they just scaled everything back on those side missions by half, I would have much rather done half of the side missions, but kept all the big ones, like kept all the Two-Face ones, kept all the Penguin ones. Those were fine. But all those APCs and all this Arkham Knight bullshit side quest stuff, just too much for me. And it really like took the game way down for me, just having to do too much junk.
And that, like, the same thing, like once it's no longer the Arkham Knight and then it's like Deathstroke or whatever. It's like,
yeah, that was funny.
Like,
now I'm taking over. See,
I think to have Deathstroke be there, it's kind of like if they could have made a different mission for Deathstroke as opposed to, like, I agree, like those missions are boring. I still have a bunch of them left to do. That's like the last stuff I have left to do is go around and diffuse mines all over town and stuff like that. It's like
I finished that I think recently, but those are annoying too. And
I love the mines.
You love the mines? Well, that's because it's bat combat.
Well, I don't mind the combat so much, but like
finding them
is a pain in the
ass.
ass.
You love revving that engine, eh, Frank? You love revving.
I agree. Finding the shit is the most annoying part.
It is. Yeah. I agree.
Just tell me where the
Basically,
shit is.
You stumble across.
I can go on the internet. I can find it. Don't make me do that.
Yeah. I agree.
Like, make it easy. Who cares? What are you trying to prove?
I agree.
Yeah.
Yeah. No, it's not
dummies.
like
well, and it's funny because in some of the stuff, like with the firefighters and all those other type of things, Alfred comes on, and if you haven't found them in a while, it says, "Hey, it's over here. Drive over here."
Hey, dum dum. There's a firefighter over by the docks.
With the mines, it doesn't seem to do that. Like I've never got a call. Hey, there's a mine over there. On
the mines you literally have to drive over and get
just
like
have
beeping
to,
or something.
Yeah, you have to hope you drive by them when you're driving around looking everywhere
at
for
150
goddamn
miles an hour.
Riddler informants.
Yeah,
yeah, that's another thing.
Brutal.
Why don't? And do they
just
even
have them
tell
all
you
there
when you found them all in a particular area?
Absolutely
they just
not.
stop showing up, I think.
And
don't
then
they?
by the end, you find them in other areas for a different area, and for interior areas, you find them at the end. Don't get me started on the Riddler.
Exactly.
I didn't want to talk about it
shit.
because none of you pussies did it.
Exactly, because we're not OCD like you. That's how bad the Riddler stuff is in this game. Is that they've made it a part of the Nightfall thing, and it's too OCD for me to give a shit. The Riddler stuff. I
don't think you have to find all the Riddler trophies to get Nightfall. I think you have to do the Riddler missions.
Oh, you have to find all the Riddler
trophies. Have to find the trophies
to get the Nightfall.
And I have a question for you. I don't even know what this means. Maybe I'm just an idiot.
It's called being a man.
So you have to find every little.
What is the deal with the Riddler? With the actual riddles? Like there's like the squares on the map that says riddle. And I know, like, every time I only know this because every time I go to the damn police station, I hear, riddle me this. Who goes upside down but goes sideways at the same time? And I'm just like, I don't even know what the fuck I'm looking for.
A sidewinding bat, dum-dum.
What?
A sidewinding bat.
But what I'm saying is, how do you solve the riddle? Like, what are you supposed to do? like all these things that have the riddle portion
go
of it.
play
Like, are you
StarCraft.
supposed to go and like touch a wall somewhere? I'll hear him start talking at parts in the game, and like put on my vision and just walk into walls and
You're
look
supposed
for
to hold
fucking
down
orange
the, like,
spots.
snapshot button or whatever it is.
Is that really what it is? Because
Yeah,
I don't think I've solved a single riddle. I have not solved a single riddle. All I've done is
Oh,
found
you haven't
trophies.
done the picture riddles? Those are actually kind of fun.
The
Like I
only
said,
one
some
I
are
did
bad,
do that
but
was part of, I
for
think,
the
of
most
the
part,
Catwoman
those are
stuff
good.
was really cool. Where you had to get like the picture of, you had to line up the mirror on the floor with like the question mark or something like that. So I thought that was awesome. Took me a while to figure that one out. I'm not the smartest book in the shed, but I'm just saying, like that. I don't understand the riddle portion of this game at all. I'm a combat guy. That's what I do. I 3-star combat missions.
Those animations are amazing.
They are amazing. Anyway,
The only other thing I noticed that in the Wayne Tower, did you guys play the messages on the message answering machine? There's like
Don't
an
think so.
answering
I can't-
machine off to one side in his office.
I think I remember going through a few of them.
If you play them, there's one from Lex Luthor talking
Nice.
about
nice.
something, and I'm wondering if that's like a little Easter egg for either Rocksteady's next game or whoever the WB Montreal's next game.
The next one's gonna be
Oh my
Batman
god!
v
If they
Superman.
Yeah.
I think
if
it
they
is,
made
though, right?
Superman like
Yeah.
I played, remember on Nintendo 64 there was a Superman game, third person
notable
world
as one
kind
of
of
the
thing where you
worst
could fly
games of
around.
all
time.
I played the shit out of that.
Jeez.
Why haven't
But
they made a good game out?
I think that Rocksteady is making, like, there's
Oh.
some leaked screenshot that shows like
I'm getting stiff as we speak.
Hell or whatever.
Well, there-
right?
Yeah?
Like,
I haven't seen it, yeah.
Yeah, there's some screen, or maybe it's from.
There was
Like-
rumors of them doing a Justice
I wanna
League
fly and
game,
carry
like,
shit around
2 years
everywhere.
ago or something, but they never.
They've got to for the movie that's coming out next year. I'm sure they'll be.
Oh my god!
I don't know though, because none of the games they've done have been tied into a movie. I don't know if they'd want to do that, right? Because
I wouldn't want a movie tie-in. I want like a standalone kind of thing.
yeah,
Like if they do a Batman like Arkham Knight quality thing of Superman, oh my god! I don't even care if there's invisible walls I fly into when I hit the edge of the map. I don't care as long as it feels like that. Put me up against Kryptonite robots. I don't give a shit.
can you imagine
I just wanna-
a Rocksteady Superman game where instead of just being like an open world Gotham City, it's open world of the world, and you can
Open-
just fly anywhere.
Open universe.
Oh
man.
my
He can just go to
God.
space. He doesn't care.
And you can
Yeah.
go into space.
But
You can
No
throw all the
Man's
nukes
Sky
into
with
the sun.
Superman.
Yeah,
that would be amazing. You could just keep flying in space, but then realize that it's pointless and just turn back around. And then it takes
Yeah.
you. But then like you're flying back towards this little, like you could literally just hold your stick and go for like miles, and it would just keep going. And then you'd like turn around and see the Earth is just this little speck, and, you're like, oh
every
fuck,
time-
now I gotta fly back for 20
And
minutes.
every time you die in the game, it just shows him animating around, spinning the world back to
you
reset
go.
time. Beauty.
I don't know. I mean, they could. For me, that's kind of like Avengers. It's kind of like Star Wars. If they do anything with Superman and it's fun to the point where you can fly anywhere, and like I love those Incredible Hulk games, for God's sake. Like any of those kind of games like that, you put Superman in there, I would love it.
I'm thinking of a realistic journalism game as Clark Kent.
You have to go find answers and like
Fuck
maintain
Superman.
your undercoverness
Yeah, you
of
keep
Clark
your-
Kent.
keep
That'd be
your secret
amazing.
Like a
Identity
Spider-Man
secret.
game where the main purpose is to take pictures and earn money.
Just take photos of stuff. Yeah, that'd be great.
Genius.
Good call,
It's a
Frank.
good idea.
Give that to Fig. Fig that up.
It's all about anti-gaming now. Haven't you figured it out? Goat Simulator, Papers, Please. Anti-gaming is the next trend in
Farming
games.
simulator.
And Rocksteady's gonna be at the forefront with their Clark Kent game.
Write the greatest article.
Lex Luthor, the game, manage a business.
There you go. That was the leak on the answering machine.
Yeah.
All right, we wrapping up this game or what?
Yeah.
I think we should. Yeah.
Yeah.
What are you guys gonna give it out of 5 stars?
5.
Yeah,
5.
5-er. I think I'm going 3.5 for me.
Well, 3.5.
Yeah.
Ouch.
I was gonna go 3, but I think Dwight's on 3.5 for me too.
Whoa.
Out of 5, Huck. Out of 5.
Yeah, 3.5 out of 5. I was gonna do 3 out of 4.
Oh, okay. I see. Sorry, that makes sense. All right,
I'm 4 out of 5.
4 out of 5.
Shit. I had a 4 out of 5 originally because I thought there was no VR simulation thing, but if I go back and find that there is, like there was in Origins in the Bat Cave or whatever, then I'll give it a 4.5. Half off for the Batmobile shit.
Well,
So I'm going to go 4 right now.
I mean, it's not a flawless game, but if I could give a 4.75, I would. But I'm going to give it a 5.
What?
You're cut.
It's
Frank.
I played this game nonstop for 5 days. When does that ever happen? That must
true.
mean
You
something.
need to go back
he
and
did
play it
like
again
it.
and refresh your memory.
I don't do any game like that. I don't do it like that.
I don't do like that.
I don't do games like that. This game, I did it,
Like that.
and I loved it.
And he loved it.
I'm going to do it again.
All right.
We would text back and forth many a night about Batman and how good it is.
Well, and Dax would say, well, how the fuck do you do this? I go, you're
This
an
is a
idiot.
piece of shit
Figure
game.
it
It's
out.
terrible. I'm
You're a
quitting.
dummy.
And he'd be like, "Oh, you're just fucking shit, bud. You can't fucking do it." Don't forget to go to Xbox Gold and get your 2 free games a month. You fuck. They're free.
Oh, okay. Let's talk about that. Dwight guy.
Yep.
He's got Xbox Live Gold. He's not even claiming his free games and not
No, I've been
downloading.
doing it since,
No,
even though I
Dwight
know I'll
guy.
never play
Dwight
it.
guy isn't. You
Oh,
are.
Dwight
You
guy isn't
finally
good?
saw the light. This guy.
What is happening?
I mean,
here?
it's free.
He's got a hack.
You know,
Frank
the
has a
deal
hack.
master, Double D, Dan DeRoche, is not going to accept that. Dwight guy, take the.
I'm on top of PlayStation.
Of
I'm on
course.
top of Origin free games. I'm on everything. Anything that's free, it's coming in.
Exactly, and you got to be Dwight. Come on.
I don't want
Okay,
to
so-
waste space on my hard drive. I don't want to
You don't
waste
have
time
to-
You don't have
having
to
to
download
log
it.
in
You
to
don't
click
have
to
to
buy
download
it.
it.
I don't want to
Dwight
have
guy,
to
I
You don't
agree
have to
with
download it.
brain power to
This is
think
how-
about it.
This is how Frank sold it to me, and it makes. I mean, believe me, it's been painful a few times, but it's literally click and then cancel, because what it does is it puts it. If you select it and download it, it goes into your apps and games, right?
Yeah.
And Frank told me, because I agree, I don't have the external hard drive. I only got I'm already 2 games on my hard drive. I'm at 35%. I'm like, I don't want to be clogging this up with shit, right? So like Deer Hunter or whatever the fuck these games are.
Dear
So,
God.
right. So
I did
but
claim that one.
but
Actually.
you did claim that one. So basically, he's like, if you claim it and then cancel it, it puts it in your app. So if any other point down the road you've technically bought that game, you can just download it off the cloud or whatever and get it at that point. So I can always delete games that I finished and then maybe go play that Deer Hunter game and bring it onto my thing and then delete it again. But I've always got it as a game
Of
I've
course,
quote
you'd be
unquote
dumb.
purchased.
You would be a complete idiot not to do this. And pro tip to the junkers out there: be doing this. Get on top of this.
Yeah.
Claim everything
It's one-
for free.
it's 2
if you're on
button
Xbox One and don't have an Xbox 360, still claim your Xbox 360 stuff. It might be backwards compatible one day.
Well,
Either
yeah, I
way,
think they're saying
you-
from now on all the Xbox 360 games will be backwards compatible.
exactly. You know what? You're just 1 week, one time I missed games for free a month on PlayStation, and I still
Can't sleep at
hate
night.
myself for it.
Right. What games
Was
were
it
they? Can you
Rocket
remember what
League?
games
Oh, I
were?
know exactly what it was. I missed getting Infamous First Light for free. And then I
got it
found
on
out
my PS4
after
right now.
that, I found out it's even got a platinum trophy to boot. It's a standalone.
Oh.
And I'm like, what the fuck did I do? And I love that
You
game.
can come
I,
platinum mind, Frank.
I bought it eventually for $7 during the superhero sale. But Dwight guy, everyone out there, please encourage Sean to always be getting his free content. He's
I
paying
mean,
for it.
I've just got
Take
enough games that I
advantage.
actually want to play that I actually wanted in the first place that I'm not getting around to. I don't think I'm going to get around to the games that I'm not interested in at all anyway.
Can you?
I
doesn't-
agree, and
it
I'm on the same
doesn't
side as Dwyer.
hurt.
But what Frank basically told me, it doesn't hurt. What if down the road I want to play Deer Hunter 5, and
You also-
I can just download that fucking
What
thing?
if Kieran wants to play it one day?
Yeah, what if Kieran wants to play Deer Hunter 5 and you're just like,
or
shit, I
Maisie.
should have taken
what if
it
they're
on
like,
gold.
oh, this
I
is
did
some
claim
stupid game I'll
Deer
never
Hunter
play.
5, or what you were referring to.
Dear
actually,
God.
the Dear God.
And what if your kids want to play it one day? It's there, man. You might not even think it's for you, but you'd got to be a damn fool not to take it.
One thing you can do too, if you don't set your Xbox as your home
To auto-
Xbox,
yeah.
if you have your, like it won't auto download, so
Or you can
just
turn
click
off
it.
auto downloads
Yeah,
too.
you can turn that off too. And you just click buy, and you don't have to go in and hit cancel, so it doesn't take up any space. It just
Oh,
sits
wow.
on your.
Do you have to do it through your
list.
Xbox One? Because I know on
no
for Sony,
No, you can do it on X.
you just go to like their website, their like Sony store website, and you can see all the games and just click purchase on them right there for all
Yeah.
platforms.
Yeah, it's the exact same on the
Oh,
Xbox.
okay, cool.
You just go on their site and hit buy on everything, and it's free, and then
Beauty.
that's it.
So yes, I have been doing that.
Of course, you're a smart man. You said you're not the smartest book on the shelf.
No,
Was it
smartest
Sharp?
book in the shed.
Oh, right. I actually approve. But what does that say about Dwight?
It's no,
He doesn't like deals.
We all know Dwyer's
He
a
hates
smart
deals.
guy.
Oh,
no,
he's a genius.
He's a genius, but he's a realist. He's like, you know what, dude? I've got Rayman still packed up in plastic on my shelf. I'm never gonna fucking play it. Why am I gonna get Deer Hunter 5?
like
if he's
400
such a
games in my
realist,
Steam library
why
I'm
is he
never gonna
paying
see.
for games he's never going to buy?
Because he
and
thinks
not
he was
getting the
going to
free
at that
games
time.
or paying for games that he's never going to play, rather than getting the free games that he's never going to play.
How many
Because
Steam games do you have?
He must have an inkling to play
I've
these
got a lot.
games. I have no inkling to play Deer Hunter 5.
Yeah, like those Steam sales. God,
I never see you on Steam playing.
Yeah, but
you
I've
ever
got
play
lots
them?
of games.
Yeah, same here. See, why not add more to your collection of games
Keep
that you're
going,
never going to
bro.
play?
It's not about playing; it's about buying.
And I want to flash back. This is
Kidding.
exactly
Support your
okay. So I want to flash back to I had a dilemma. Okay, I was coming back into the console market. Okay, for 2 weeks, I'm telling Frank, I said, you know what, I'm getting the itch. I know Battlefront's coming out soon. You know,
Oh yeah,
it's about. I mean, I've been only playing Guild Wars 2 for like and App Store games for like the past 2 years. I think I want to get back into console, making a little money now. Let's do this. I'm thinking because I have a PS3. I like PlayStation. Like, you know, I'm thinking PS4. I'm thinking PS4. But what do you think? He's like, dude, no. Let's talk about this. Xbox.
I didn't.
all the way.
I said both are.
You
good.
said both are good, but this guy, I've never. It was like he was a salesman. He was giving me specs. He was giving me what's coming out, what isn't out, what's down the pipe. 2 years from now, and then I remember watching E3 and going, "Oh, that fucking shooting the Metal Dragons game looks fucking amazing. That's PS exclusive." And he's like, "Buddy, 2 years down the road, that's not even coming out yet. But yeah, if you get Xbox, you can get Gears of War. Oh my god, you can get this,
no.
you can get that, exclusives,
Let me just settle this here. I know what you like.
right?" And
I know you don't play Uncharted, so it's not like
Well, I would play it, but yeah, I'm not huge.
you've never played it before.
I played Uncharted too.
A bit, right? It's not one of your games. So I'm like, well, if Dax was a diehard Uncharted fan, I would say he's got to get a PS4 because that's coming real soon. I know what you like. I know you would love Ryse. I know that is exactly your kind of game.
Finished it in like 4 days.
Exactly. I know you love Gears.
Do you have
Right, I'm
any
not going to
Gears?
get that though because there's no horde mode apparently.
Anyway,
know what
I know what you like,
Right,
and
right,
that's why I suggested
Right
it for you.
And now I'm very happy. So I ended up getting an Xbone, right? So I remember getting it home. I sent him a text of just the Xbox loading screen, that green screen or whatever like that. I was all excited. Girlfriend had gone to bed. It's like boom, setting up my Xbone. I get on the phone with this guy. It wasn't enough to text me back. We got on the phone. We started talking about it. And first thing out of his mouth, he's like, "Okay, I'm so excited, buddy. This is so great. Okay, first thing you're going to do is you're just going to go on gold and you're going to get free games. You're going to buy. That's the name of the game is buy. You just got to buy. You just buy games. That doesn't matter how many games you have. You just got to keep buying them. You got to fill up your hard drive. You got to just buy.
And you can add external hard drives to
And
it
that's what he's
fill
telling me.
those
He
up.
goes, he's getting okay, here, no problem, buddy. We're going to get the external hard drive. You can add all digital. I'm all digital all the time, baby. I haven't bought a hard copy game in a long time. It's all digital. I was just like, my head was swimming. I was just like, I just want to
I
play.
offered you to buy the games that I still have that I haven't traded in,
Yeah,
that I
yeah.
purchased digitally, and I was just telling you that week. I told you buy now because there's a super sale on Xbox, which was Ori among other things
Right,
that I
which I did
instructed you to
pick
buy
up.
right now. Get on it. Boom.
Yeah, boom. He's like, name of the game is buy. You just got to buy.
I don't think I ever said that.
He said, name of the game is just buy games. Buy. Just buy. Just keep buying until you can't buy anymore. That was Frank. It was a good experience with my Xbox. So I'm back in the game.
All right. Well, we should get on to other stuff we played. Maybe try and pick up the pace a little bit here.
Yeah.
What is it, like 4 a.m.
tangents.
Eastern time?
Now, Dan, do you want to talk a little bit about StarCraft and the?
Sure, I can talk about it. Some of the other games I've played. So, StarCraft, a lot of StarCraft, and then I've been playing Rocket League, which is pretty
I
awesome.
played a bit of that, and it's pretty fun.
Yeah, it's a blast. That game is great.
I haven't even heard of it.
It's like soccer, but with cars.
Oh, cool.
So there's like this big ball, and there's like all these like cars that have like jet booster kind of things and
Right.
stuff, and you're just attempting to score on the other team. So it's like 3v3 or 4v4. It's awesome. And then
Seems like one of those ideas that would just come out of a game jam or something, but then it's actually super fun.
Yeah, it's awesome. And then I played a bit of Gears Ultimate Edition.
How is that?
It's pretty good.
Yeah?
Yeah, it's nice.
I think I got turned off of that when I heard that. Then, because that's just it's not the new game. That's just a remake of one, right?
The first game, but it's the PC version of the first game that they remade. So if you didn't play the PC version, there's like a whole extra chapter.
Okay, so it's just an extra bit of story.
So you're getting like the extra bit of story.
And if you buy and play in the first month, you get all 4 of the original games, which will be backwards compatible for free.
Right? Yeah, you tried to
You'd
talk
be
me
a
into
damn
that.
fool
And
not
that
to
wasn't
buy
my
that.
So I don't know. I played a bit of that. And then I'm trying to think if there's anything else. It's mostly been StarCraft, I have to say.
So why don't you tell us about
Well,
going
yeah,
to the tournament?
Yeah, I went to the Toronto Season 2 finals. So every year I think there's 3 or 4 seasons before BlizzCon, which is the finals. And all the best players in the world gather and play StarCraft. This past season, like it's in season 3 right now, but season 2, the finals were in Toronto. So I went and saw like the final day. I think Hydra won. He's a Zerg player. I don't know. It's pretty exciting. It's like live sports, but
What was the
StarCraft.
fan base like? Like very excited? Was it loud or was it?
it was fairly loud. I've been to a few of them. I think this was like my 3rd one going. So they had a few years ago, they had a season finals also in Toronto. That one was probably the loudest. That was louder than this one. Like, I don't know what it was. I think maybe just StarCraft's popularity is kind of waning compared to the to like some of the MOBA games like League of Legends and Dota and stuff like that, which I can't watch those. I find them annoying. But yeah, so this one wasn't as busy as I thought it would be compared to the previous ones, but it's pretty interesting. And one of the things they did there, which was kind of cool, is they also did an Archon mode tournament. So in the new StarCraft that's coming out, Legacy of the Void, they have this thing called Archon mode where 2 people team up on the same team but control like a single base. So unlike all the previous versions where you were doing 2v2 or whatever, there'd be 2 people each with their own thing to control against 2 other people. It's 2v2, but each team only has one thing to control. So one person can stay at home and kind of manage the base while the other person's out attacking, or both people can attack at the same time on 2 different angles. Like it just
I can see
adds a
that
whole
being
lot.
like a whole new crazy amount of strategies for that.
Oh, it's ridiculous.
Yeah.
Yeah, because you can do like so much more.
Like if you two prong attack somebody at like an early stage, I mean it's like game over.
Yeah.
But there's got to be a counter for that, and just like
yeah, and it's a lot of fun. Like you were talking about like APM and stuff before, and in that it like combines your APM of both players.
That's
so like
insane.
the APMs are insane, like because it's like 2 people just doing like everything.
APM being
together.
attacks per minute.
attack or actions.
It's actions per minute.
So basically, the amount of like
Things
click,
you're
click,
doing.
click, clicks that you can do, and just like I remember, like I said, I quit StarCraft early on, but I got hooked into like the Husky Craft, StarCraft. Like they would basically, I guess, like sports cast these things and like matches and whatnot of all the pro players, and I would watch them.
I remember you.
Yeah,
used
I
to
was
watch
at work.
this, yeah.
I'd be watching them while I was working, of course.
Yeah,
Of
course.
doing sweet animations.
That's what I was doing today. I was watching WCS while I was working.
There you go. But I remember watching them and just being like, it's more fun to watch and play it. At that point, that was one time I was able to detach from the game and go, it's just too hard for me. This game is too hard. I get too frustrated. But watching it was awesome. Like watching good players play StarCraft
it's
is wicked.
Yeah.
Because like the guy I would follow was Husky StarCraft or whatever, his name was Husky, and he would be like, oh, and then he's coming around, oh, and then this is Zergbane Blitz, oh my god, the Protoss got the it's just like it's watching these esports is crazy.
Yeah.
Like it's
Well, and like especially like I'm obviously I guess it's probably better if you like the game and
Yeah.
play the game, because I've tried to watch League of Legends and Dota
I
and
could
stuff,
care,
and
yeah.
I played them a bit, but I'm like I can't watch. Like I find it unwatchable,
Right.
Because it's like 5 people against 5 other people, and
Right.
there's like 8 million different things to keep track of.
Right.
Like in StarCraft, it's complicated enough, but at least when you're watching the matches, it's like one
It's
person
two
against
armies.
another
Yeah,
person,
yeah, that's it.
and so it's kind of easier to keep track of like the flow of what's happening. But even then, it's like incredible. Like you're just like, how are they possibly like splitting their army like that?
I know,
how
it's
are
insane.
They, like,
It's
some
insane.
of the stuff that they
and it always
pros
comes
do is
down
just
to
ridiculous.
like 2 clicks in the wrong direction at that level. That is the end of your army, and it's just
it's like you didn't get the right piece of information. Like
your
like,
scout. You didn't scout properly.
I was watching a match today,
Yeah.
and it was a Zerg versus Terran match, and the Zerg has like their overlord floating above the base where they should be able to see stuff, but it was just outside of vision where the guy was able to run like a whole bunch of units past.
Right.
And so the guy didn't know what was coming, and then he just
got
lost.
blitzed,
Like
yeah.
completely lost because had he had the thing a bit closer, it would have got shot down.
Right.
But if he had it on the other side, scouting the same area, he would have seen everything going past.
Oh, this
and
is
would have
bringing
won.
me back to my
So it's just
StarCraft
like-
watching days.
It's completely like that. Like it's like chess, but real time chess where
With 1 million units.
and you have to know like what's my opponent doing, or you have to guess what your opponent's doing, kind of thing, right? If you don't have that knowledge. I don't know. I love it. It's awesome.
I only know that Dan has been playing StarCraft because I've been playing Heroes of the Storm. So I've been getting my Blizz fix through the free game Heroes of the Storm. And I believe it's kind of like a League of Legends
Yeah, it
kind of
is. It's
ish
the
game.
same
It's where you have a
type of thing.
hero and there's 5v5, that kind of thing. And so that brings up a Blizzard menu, and I see your friends that are online, and I see DeRoche in
On
StarCraft menu.
constantly.
Yeah, so
Nice.
good for you, Mr. Diamond. That's pretty cool.
So Dax, Heroes of the Storm is the main thing you've been playing then, or?
Oh God, let me get going, boys. I've been playing a ton of shit. So I've been playing on my Mac. I play Guild Wars 2 all the time. More so, I kind of had a bit of a break on it. Can't wait for the expansion. Heart of Thorns is going to be great.
That game's been out for quite a while now, right?
Yeah, well, I mean, I think it was 3 years. I think, yeah, they just celebrated the 3 anniversary. I only played it 2 years because I'm on a Mac, and they only released the Mac about a year into the game. So I've been playing that, and it's basically completely, I think, well, it replaced Warcraft for me because I was playing them both at the time, and then I just said, you know what, for me, that game is much better. It fits all of what I like about MMOs.
What's better
so
about
I've
it?
been with. Oh, let me think. Like it's kind of like the level cap. It's very. I think the game design and how they've managed to make it more player friendly in the sense that I found WoW when I went back and played it, there was like 1 million buttons, 1 million spells, 1 million skills. You had to have like 50 macros of shit. You know what I mean? Like I was playing my Death Knight when I got back into it with my buddy and doing some PvP, which is how pretty much I like to go in the game is PvP. And it was just the classes weren't balanced. It felt like healers stayed alive forever. It was really kind of, it feels like it was overly complicated. Guild Wars 2 is like, every class, yeah, okay, there's still some issues where certain things can kill you, but you can spec your characters in certain ways so that you can counter these things. There's only basically 4 or 5 skills per weapon, right? So it's not like you're doing 1 million macros. There's no macro use in that game as far as I know that you can use anyway. It's a simplified version. My favorite part about the game is a worldview world. So basically they have giant open world or map games where I think up to like 200 people from each server, like of 3 teams, can fight for supremacy over a battlefield. So there's a lot of siege involved, a lot of catapulting, a lot of castle takeovers, and you have these zergs of people of like 80 to 100 people, all like kind of having actual strategical battles, and it's just a lot of fun. Like that's like how I like to play the game. They don't have that in Warcraft, so I play that a lot. I've been playing Heroes of the Storm, which is a nice little fix for when I feel like playing some kind of League of Legends style stuff. X-Bone I just recently got, so I finished Ryse. I've been playing Ryse. I've been playing a lot of PvZ, Garden Warfare, in lead up to Garden Warfare 2, which I'm really stoked about. But Garden Warfare, I actually find a really fun game. Unlocking the sticker book is just wicked. Getting the characters is so much fun. It's colorful. It's just a lot of fun. What else? I played Ryse, I said. Batman was great, obviously. I didn't really get into Ori. I bought it, but I haven't gotten too into it. It just seems kind of... The couple levels I played were pretty repetitive, so it just felt kind of... Or I didn't know where I was going. It was beautiful. Like, artistically, it's beautiful looking. But I don't feel like I knew what I was doing. Like, I was kind of... you're just either running right or left, and it feels like I went to this tree and opened the door in a tree, but now this map I'm on looks the exact same, but I have to go back here anyway. I don't know. There's something, I didn't give it enough time, I don't think, but it's pretty decent. The other games I'm into lately, I play a lot of time. I didn't realize it, but I play a lot of time on my iPad. I play Clash of Clans. Between Clash of Clans, Star Wars Commander, which is basically Clash of Clans but Star Wars.
Really?
Oh yeah, get on it, bud. It's good. Boom Beach, I play as well. So that's on all of those three on rotation. So like I go claim the gold in all three and whatever, right? And I'm also huge into Marvel Future Fight, I think it is. It's basically like
a fighting game with Marvel characters.
It's Marvel characters. There is a fighting game which is called Marvel. I have that too, but I stopped playing that one. It's basically like a fighter, like Street Fighter.
Yeah.
I stopped playing that one. This one is more like kind of like a third person camera, 3 character
Isometric?
fighting. You go through and it's RPG-ish, you kind of whatever fight shit. That's a lot of fun because you get to build up each character and get their skill points and stuff. So I play that a lot. Like I'm doing dailies on that, so you know you've got a problem. If you're doing the dailies on it to get your crystals, I've got some problems.
This guy loves crystals.
I'm playing that like I'm like shit. I got to do my 10
Crystals
fucking
in the
timeline battles.
Is there a game that's like all crystal based? Final
I
Fantasy
need to find a crystal
Chronicles.
game that's only crystals. You just grow crystals.
Crystal Prawn for Dax, I think.
Crystal prawn.
Crystal Chronic.
But yeah, so that's pretty much what I've been playing. I've been playing that on rotation, every night, all night. So it's good times.
You need to get into crystal meth, man.
I probably do.
That's
Sounds right up my alley.
I don't know.
Yeah, Dax, have you gotten into that Star Wars digital card collecting game at all?
I have not. I just heard about it today. Actually, I saw it on Facebook. A Facebook ad came out for it.
I feel like both
I think
you
I want to
and
stay away
Frank
from that shit.
should look it up. I think it's got you.
I feel like I should stay away from it.
I just don't understand how it exists. Like it's literally there's not even a game there. It's just you pay money to open packages of cards, and then
Really?
and then you collect these cards and you can trade with people. That's all it is.
No way. That's
It's
all it
it's
is.
electronic
That's all it
sticker
is.
book.
It's
Sounds
electronic
pretty good.
sticker book.
Yep.
I got the World
Or
Cup
baseball
soccer sticker book last summer, and was putting like a Panini sticker book. I was doing stickers again.
But
Nice.
was it like real in your hands?
Yeah,
Then that's fine.
exactly.
Not a digital version.
But isn't the digital version?
Better.
Yeah, I can't.
No,
do
it's
it.
not this. You
I'm
can't
out.
do it. I can't do
This is
that.
stupid. Why? Who is
Who
this
would invent
Dwight
that
guy?
dumb shit?
No, but who would think we would want to do that?
I don't know.
Right?
Right. It seems kind of weird.
I'm kind of intrigued. I'll think about it. But I heard isn't it the actual old cards rescanned in? Isn't it like the classics,
yeah,
all the series
I think
of
so.
classic Star
Oh,
Wars
man.
cards, but which includes you did cards for Star Wars. I wonder if the cards you
The
did
Tops.
are,
I did Tops Galaxy Series 5
Exactly.
sketch cards.
I wonder if your cards are in this game, bud.
That'd be amazing. No, they wouldn't be because those were unless they scan. No, they didn't. I did mail them back to them, so maybe they did scan them in at some point. That would be hilarious. I'll still never forget seeing a Darth Maul one I did
your
for
Darth
$75
Maul's
on
good.
eBay.
What did you do, Boston Ass?
Not on the cards.
Oh, I wanted Boston Ass.
I'll do a Boston Ass for you later.
All right, so Frankie, what do you got for us?
Okay, I'll burn through this shit. Let's start with a brand new game, Lovers in a Dangerous Spacetime.
Mm-hmm.
I've not played co-op yet. Played just the introductory mission last night. This game is fucking amazing. So tight, so simple. It's like a new indie game.
Got
You're in a ship.
10 on a 10 on a
It's a-
Destructoid.
Yeah, you're essentially, you and a partner are, one of you is piloting a spaceship. You're strategizing whether you're changing your shield. You can only shoot out of individual sides, 4 individual sides of the ship to shoot at enemies. So it's like you're inside, let's say, the Millennium Falcon, and you have to go to the right turret to shoot
Right.
things, and you see the inside of the ship. And it's managing where you go on the ship and what you attack. Just started, love it. A 10 out of 10. It's tough to say. I really feel like not having online co-op is a bit of a downer for that. But, I mean,
The
whatever.
visuals look insane, though.
Yeah, it's beautiful. It's just a beautiful.
Those guys are out of
beautiful
Toronto,
game.
aren't
Yep.
Absolutely. Asteroid Base, right?
Yeah.
They're called?
they? Yeah.
Fantastic. Let's go with a slightly older one, which I'm actually addicted to. I do run after run. I'm like, one more run with this game. The Binding of Isaac Rebirth on Xbox One, which is a roguelike top-down shooter with essentially their thing is an infinite number of possibilities of items and rooms. Well, not infinite, but every time it's a completely different experience of the combination of powers you get and how it plays out. I don't think it's perfect. I think they could do a much better job of not making you go online to find out what these things do that you have, which is what I end up doing anyway, but highly recommend it. It's from one of the creators of Super Meat Boy. It's been out for a while on Steam. I think they're adding DLC on Steam soon to expand the game even further, but I love that game. We talked Rare Replay on Film Junk. Haven't played it as much as I thought I would. I find actually a lot of the games to be somewhat annoying, and I'll be honest, the reason I was most excited for that game was I thought I'd be able to get another 1,000 in Viva Pinata, and I can't. It's just the same achievements.
Yeah, that part was annoying.
And skew is the original.
And they marketed it as, there's 10,000 gamer score here.
Yeah.
And it's like, no, there's like
4,000.
4,000.
Yeah.
And then if you had the games already, you're just playing them backwards compatibility mode.
Exactly, which I thought is pretty lame. Give me the goods.
Yeah.
What a load of shit.
Just let me get those achievements.
Just get those points
Costs
already.
you nothing.
Fuck.
Oh, you know what? Re-export your fucking game with a new ID. That's all you have to do.
and then
There's
we're done.
nothing to do.
Yeah, because all we care about is points, right, boys?
Give me a break. You're right.
Yeah.
Dax and I played some co-op Ryse, which was fun.
Co-op Ryse, which was a lot of fun.
I replayed Ryse on hard. That was a good time. Dragon Age Inquisition I played quite a bit of. Huck, I don't know. Like, I know you love BioWare.
I've been playing it recently too.
Do you know what game I feel the influence on this, which you also love?
Skyrim?
No, Kingdoms of Amalur.
Oh, yeah, sure, yeah.
Just how, like, within one map, there's a million things to do.
Yeah.
You just keep unlocking missions to the point where you're sweeping a map and, I'll go do this here, I'll do this here. You never run out of stuff to do,
Yeah.
which I think is great. I like the game. Don't love it quite yet, but I need to spend some more time with it. Briefly, Madden 16, played that, loved it. Finally felt like they've added some new worthwhile mechanics to the game, one of which would be some more detail in receiving and passing, which I think works.
Yep.
And also the RPG system, essentially, for franchise mode, incentivizing you to play the game differently and try different things rather than I would get in the habit of doing the same things all the time in Madden. So, love that. Mega Man Legacy Collection, just beat Mega Man 2, but really enjoying that as well. Rory and McIlroy PGA Tour. I know a lot of people shit on this game because it was missing a lot of modes. I agree. It's not perfect, but I mean, in terms of a golf game, I just pick up and play and it's fine. It's not great, but I've been enjoying it. Now we'll get to the meat and potatoes here. Mad Max, which I was actually really enjoying for quite a bit. It's essentially a simplified version of Batman's combat skinned with an open world apocalyptic game. Was loving the world itself. Really like the start of the game. I do find it's starting to get repetitive, and I see that online is a huge complaint with the game, so I am a little worried with that. At first, I was liking it, but I'm worried it's going to be a bit of a chore to get through. But I haven't made up my mind yet. I'll say we played some Quiplash the other night, Dwy Guy and I, which is a new game from the people who made the Jackbox Collection, which is essentially a game of being clever on the fly and people voting as to whose answer is the most funny or who says "come in it" the most. It's just essentially the game is what you make of it, and it's a pretty fun game. I actually quite enjoyed playing it the other night. And finally, the goods. Metal Gear Solid 5, The Phantom Pain, which I mean, people are just gushing over this thing online. 10 out of 10 here, 10 out of 10 there, 10, 10, 10.
Now, is this the game
Sound
that they
like a
just had that
broken record.
free thing on Xbox Gold? Like I played the first
No,
level?
that was the prequel or the prologue to the game.
But it
which
is
they
the
released
same.
it
It's the
originally.
gameplay, basically.
Yeah, they released as a $40 1-hour game
Right.
a year ago or a year and a half. Either way, I am loving the game in general. I think it's classic Metal Gear. Love the open world. It's almost a hybrid between Metal Gear and Red Dead. The mother base system is actually way better than I thought, which is upgrading your base and managing resources on top of the game. I've been actually enjoying that part of the game. It's not too obtrusive. And some of the locations for some of the missions I've been doing are pretty amazing looking. My only two minor complaints so far are, number one, it just feels like there's way too many enemies in every area. Like making stealth approaches so much harder now of being able to do that successfully. And I'm sure you can get really skilled and do it, but I think they could have scaled the amount of enemies and bases a bit slower with progression of the game. It's a little daunting at first, and it's hard to be successful at stealth. It could be just that I'm shit. That's fine. But I still like it. And finally, the managing mother base, I don't know if this is just an Xbox thing. It might not be on PS4. Bringing up that menu to change those things is almost a minute load time every time. And if you go back and switch between them, you have to wait another minute. How this has not affected reviews is insane to me, because all these different menus are sharing the same resources. So obviously you want to bounce back and forth between them to see which is the best thing to buy out of all the things you could do. What do I want to do? And to do this takes forever. I cannot believe that no one, to my knowledge, has talked about this or pointed it out. It's so frustrating. And it doesn't make sense. It's like a text menu. There's nothing that crazy about it. It's mind-boggling to me. Absolutely mind-boggling.
Do you have the game installed on a USB hard drive?
Yeah.
Or
USB.
your internal drive?
USB.
I just wonder what...
They say USB's faster.
Yeah, I think it is, because I think it caches stuff to the internal one. So if you had the game on the internal one, it would be...
Yeah.
Like it has to move stuff from this one drive, like from the same drive to itself.
If no one else is having this problem, and maybe it is something with my setup, and I need to fix
Maybe
that.
your drive is slow or something.
I don't know. No other game is like that though. It's just this
really?
game. So maybe there's some non-optimal partitioning of it on my thing. Who knows? But it is infuriating.
You could try moving it to your main drive.
Yeah.
See
But
if it helps.
I am loving that game. So polished, so unique. We have a junk mail question relating to it, or Hideo Kojima specifically. Not as much annoying dialogue. It's pretty concise and interesting, and just classic Metal Gear, I'd say, with a whole new, fresh coat of paint.
Did you play Peace Walker?
No, I should though.
Apparently, it's like a expanded Peace Walker, because I think Peace
think
Walker
so,
had
yeah.
all that sort of mother base stuff in it too.
That's it for me.
All right, Huck City, what do you got?
Well, Frank talked about Dragon Age. I've been playing that. This is actually I bought it day one. Played it for a bit when I first got it, and then put it down almost immediately because I didn't really get it. I was expecting it to be more like Dragon Age 1, more story heavy. This game is much more like Kingdoms of Amalur, where you just kind of go through a map and you just try to do everything on the map. And the story bits are just kind of here and there when you come back to the town. And it doesn't seem like there's much story within each map, which kind of, pushed me out of it. I didn't really want to play it at the beginning, but now I'm enjoying it for what it is, just this kind of like open world exploration thing. It looks great, and it's a lot of fun to play. I played little Madden like Frank as well. I borrowed it from the old library yesterday, and really liking it too. Like Frank was saying, the player catch mechanics and throw mechanics all work really well. still kind of learning my way around. I haven't played a Madden for probably 3 years or so. So, but it feels great. I'm playing it on Pro, which is the second lowest. So I probably still have some improvements to do here and there, but really liking that. I'll probably pick that up when I get an Xbox One eventually and play there. I started playing through Metal Gear Solid 4 again, try to get some trophies, but then I went on a trophy guide and it says you need to do 8 playthroughs to get all the trophies, and I said, okay, I guess I'm just going to play on easy and just try to remember what the hell this game was about instead. I played through some older games. Final Fantasy 13-2 I tried. I was enjoying it, and then I just lost all interest in it. It has this weird sort of like, whereas Final Fantasy 13 was sort of like this big open linear world where you just kind of go from point A to point B. This is the exact same, except they throw in this like time warping mechanic where you're jumping between different times, and I just didn't know why I was doing it and kind of lost interest in it. And a lot of the levels started to, or a lot of the gameplay within the levels started to be the same. Then I went back to, or I played a game called This War of Mine. Have you guys heard of this game?
No.
It's by this like,
Nope.
oh, you guys should look into this game. It's on Steam. I don't know what other platforms it's on. But it's by this, I think, Polish developer, and it's about a war. I can't remember which one. And basically, it's sort of a 2.5D perspective, and you play as the survivors of a war, or I guess not survivors, but just like civilians caught in the middle of a war. And really, your whole purpose is just to survive. I think it's like between 30 and 40 days, depending on... It's kind of like a random endpoint, I think. And the game starts, you're kind of in summer. You have this house with 2 other people, and each person has their own specialty. Either they're good at making food efficiently, they're good at scavenging items from different map locations, or they can hold a lot of stuff. Like, there's different little specialties for each one. And essentially all it is during the day, you fix up and do sort of like base building things in your house. And then during night, someone goes out to a place around the map and tries to scavenge for materials, food, weapons. And then you bring that back and use that as in your base construction. But they throw in all this like psychology and sociology where... people can either attack you or be friendly, and you can like trade with them, or they might try to kill you. And once one of your guys is dead, he's dead for the rest of the game, and you only have the remaining people at your base, and all their stuff is lost unless you go back to that area and get it. And there's all this story about how the militia's coming in, but then there's all this meta game where your characters get depressed, so they start like feeling sad. It's just really, it's like a really powerful game. And if you guys haven't seen it, go look at it. At least go watch like a little bit of it. It's a really cool game, and not it seems to be kind of flying under the radar, but it's really, really good. Definitely.
Is there anyone who can collect porn for you? Because you think that would raise the morale back at your base.
Yeah. Well, I don't know, not that I'm aware of, but it's possible. I haven't beat it yet. I keep dying early on.
Any crystal collecting?
Any crystal collecting? Crystal collectors.
Are there crystals in this game?
All crystal
just crystal
collectors.
meth collecting, that's all.
It looks like it's during the Bosnian War.
Yeah, that's the one.
Siege of Sarajevo.
Yeah. So it's really interesting. And there's like all the stuff where people will knock on your door, and you don't know if you should open the door or not, and you kind of have to like wait it out. And you can like go and help people or choose not to help them. And there's this whole like camaraderie aspect, and people come to your door, and it's just, and they ask if they can join you. You don't know if it's a good idea or not. You might get raided. So there's all this kind of like mind fuck, you could say. My mind fuck of the month, This War of Mine.
Nice.
And then I played some older games, or I played one of the new games that came on PS Plus, Xeodrifter. I played it for a little bit. It's a pretty fun little, almost like Mega Man shooter. But see,
I would say more Metroid was the
Metroid,
influence.
sure,
I think.
yeah, I guess that's. A better
I found
comparison.
I played that when it came out on the 3DS, and I found that I got kind of stuck.
Yeah,
Like there was a few planets you could go to, and I went to the ones you could, and then I couldn't figure out how to get past the other ones. And
Yeah,
I think
I
at the
only
time there was nothing online about it, so I couldn't figure out.
yeah,
how
I
to get
haven't
past
played
it.
long. I played. I went to 2 worlds. The first one I couldn't go anywhere, and then the second one I got a little like underwater ship, and then it seemed like that was the whole purpose, was just to get that underwater ship, and then you leave.
Right.
And then I stopped playing, so I haven't played very much at all. But it seemed to be a neat little game. I'll probably keep playing it since it was free. And then I played 2 PS1 games on my Vita, which I'm absolutely loving for playing old classics. I played a little Suikoden 2, which I still am trying to beat for the first time, which is just a massive game. And then I think, Frank, you always are talking about how you can't just love a single game. I figured it out. You just need to unplug and get totally away from everything. Because I went
Like
up,
the Matrix?
I went up to a cottage, no internet. I had my cell phone, but I had it off. No TV, just the sound of the lake and the fish.
The Vita.
Had my Vita pumping out those PS1 classic tunes.
How is that unplugging if you're playing your fucking
No,
Vita,
no,
bud?
but I mean, unplugging as far as no distractions. You're not getting email. You're not
Unplugging as far as good games and like big, awesome systems.
No, just distractions. It worked the same
Like
if you
his
took like a
Xbox or
TV and an Xbox out there and played Ryse. You'd enjoy
Right,
it
yeah.
It'd be
more
the
if
same
all
thing.
you had
Just
was
saying-
Ryse. That was it.
Commit. He's saying commit to a
Yeah,
game.
commit.
So you only have the one, and you got to
That's
really
right.
invest in
That's
it.
it.
Okay, gotcha,
So I was
gotcha.
playing
Okay.
this game called Wild Arms, which is this RPG for PS1 that
I've heard of Wild Arms.
I've
Yeah.
played Wild Arms.
Yeah, so I had never got into it, and I ended up sinking like 8 to 10 hours into this game just because I had
Because you're at the
nothing else.
cottage, you were bored as fuck. There was no technology around.
Nothing else to do.
Yeah, I was out on
No
this
internet.
island, just stuck.
No TV.
But I enjoyed it. Whereas most of the time, I'll play for like 20 minutes and be like, "Oh, I better check my email." Or
Fuck, I'd play Gone Home if that was all I had to play up there. Okay, this is the best game ever.
maybe that's the secret. But that's it. That's the secret. Just unplug and that's all
Alright.
I've been playing.
Well, I can respect that.
Nice.
Kind of like that's the only time I ever read a book is when I'm
That's right,
on
yeah.
vacation and bored out of my mind by the
There you
pool,
go.
and all I have is a book. I'll read a book.
Or when the power goes out for so long that the battery on your phone dies, or the battery on your laptop dies. Or
I
the
think
battery
about that. If the,
like shit.
I think about
got
that now.
nothing
If the
left.
power
I
went
have
out now, like it did when I was a kid, I would fucking lose my mind
I
with
wouldn't.
no
That's
internet.
That's
no.
why you keep everything nicely charged. It's like I got a backlog of movies.
Yeah, but then
downloaded
you
on
know
this
you've
thing.
only got like a 3-hour window.
I
What
know.
do I do with this? Do I go to RedTube?
No,
Or
your
internet's
router's down.
down,
There's
the
no
power's
power,
out.
pal.
Oh, then you're fucked. Yeah.
That's the thing. When it happens, you keep thinking, "Oh, I'll just go do this," and then you realize, "Nope, can't."
Yeah,
do
exactly.
That.
That's
"Oh,
what I'm
I'll
saying.
just go do this."
Today's
Nope.
society, if we lost power for another, like remember like the New York thing of whatever 2008 or whatever it was, when the power went out for
Yeah.
The big power.
the big power for 3 days or whatever it was. If that happened now, like even then that was a big deal. If that happened now, oh my god, people like not being able to use their cell phone for like 2 days.
Yeah,
Woo.
that would be crazy.
Well, nobody has backup landlines.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's true.
Like
You
the
wouldn't-
landlines
it would
continue
go
to
back
work
to the olden days where we'd
when the
have to
power
send
went out,
carrier pigeons and shit.
Yep.
Anyway,
All right, Dwyer, what mobile games you been playing?
Dwyer, what'd you play?
All
I
right.
just played Love Letter.
I got a few things. I played the new King's Quest, the first chapter of which is called A Night to Remember, and was kind of curious to see how they are going to reinvent this and update it and stuff. And so the idea is it's the main character, but as an old man, voiced by Christopher Lloyd, and kind of
Nice.
retelling his tales of adventure, so it's kind of got each chapter is sort of like a flashback, and you get narration from Christopher Lloyd as you're going around doing the things. And I really like the animation and the voice acting. It's very cartoony and comedic, but I thought it was quite good. And it's actually not point and click per se. Like you are kind of moving your character around in directions, and then interacting with objects as you get close to them.
This is like Telltale Games.
yeah, I guess it's closer to how they do things.
Have they made a stoner point-and-click adventure game?
I don't know.
They should.
They need to make a stoner everything, I think.
Like a joint and spliff adventure? You know what I'm saying?
Nice. We gotta get on that.
Edit that out.
Indie games. Make it.
So I like that. Played N++. I feel like this is this is the third in the series of games, which started with N and N+, and I had never played the original. I don't know. I think it was maybe just a Flash game or something. I
think so.
Could be wrong on that, but I played N+ on the DS, I want to say, and I feel like that game was a little ahead of its time. It was before sort of I think it did come out for Xbox Live Arcade, but it was kind of just before the whole indie craze hit, and so it was, it's very short platforming levels, and the graphics are super simple and lo-fi, and you're literally just trying to get from one point to the other, and you have to pick up a key along the way to open the door, and that's pretty much it. So the N+ came out, a few years before Super Meat Boy and stuff like that, and so now they've come out with a new one for the PS4, and it's it's kind of, you get groups of I think 5 levels. They're very quick to do. So you do like groups of 5 at a time essentially, and it's got this pounding electronic soundtrack, and it's a lot of fun. I like it. Although I will admit, I think maybe just because the whole indie craze has happened, now it doesn't seem quite as special as it did when N+ was out. It's because I feel like they didn't add a whole lot to it. It's just interesting level designs and the fact that they have a level editor in it as well. But, I'm not that far into it, so maybe there's new mechanics and things that I haven't got to yet. I feel like a lot of people don't know about those games, and it's worth checking out.
It got really good reviews, but it seems like to me they didn't do any marketing. Like, I didn't see it really advertised anywhere or talked about on anything. And then I feel like maybe they're just trying to ride the wave of the N+ game.
Yeah, I think they just thought that everybody knew it, but a lot of people don't know it.
And it was, the distance between the games was real long, right?
Yeah.
It was like 5 years or more between N+ and N++.
Yeah, I think N+ was maybe 2007, 8,
so
something like that.
8 years, 9 years. That's a long time to make a game.
Yeah.
You're going to lose your mind share, right? And so it seemed to me strange that no one was really talking about it. Just kind of flew under the radar, and be interested to see how it makes out. But I don't think it's doing that well.
Yeah. Now this is yet another. I feel like I've probably complained about this a few times already, but I just gotta stick it in again. It was originally announced for Vita, and then at launch, it's like, oh, Vita version's delayed. Like, how often does that happen? And it's the perfect game for the Vita. Like, it's so annoying.
But there's no crazy graphics in that, right?
No.
I don't know why.
I'm
completely justified stick in.
I'm 90% sure that Sony
Stick it in deeper next time.
I'm 90% sure that Sony is giving some of these indie developers a little extra something to say, hey, hold off on the Vita. We want it to be PS4 exclusive because we want to sell more PS4s.
Why didn't they give us a little something extra?
You should have asked for it, I guess. I don't know.
Should ask. Bent over.
But yeah, it's weird because like that happened with Costume Quest 2. They still haven't put out the Vita version for that. What else was there? I think that Volume game that just came out was also supposed to be on Vita, and they said it's delayed.
Huh, yeah.
Isn't it kind of like a business decision? Like,
yeah.
There's 5 Vitas sold? Maybe
I'm sure that's part of it, but it's just
Frank has one.
I think lots of people have it. And there's
for Citizens of Earth, the Vita sales are not horrible. I mean, they're not like as good as the 3DS or Wii U, but they're better than a PC. So,
I think people are somewhat starved for content who have that device. So,
well, and also I have a PlayStation TV too, that other little dongle thingy.
Yeah,
I remember you messaging me when it was a great deal.
It was a good deal. But some Vita games don't work in it.
Yeah,
so
you gotta flip
You
the
literally
switch.
like you put the Vita game in there that you've purchased and it doesn't work.
Yeah.
Or like ones you can download or whatever, then they're just like, sorry, this doesn't work on this system. It's like, so they just divided it up even more. So now there's like another Vita system out there that
Yep.
even less games run on.
So stupid.
So
So I think you're like, I don't know if indie games are necessarily selling at PS4 though. Like I don't know if that's the reason.
what? Just
they're
like
delaying
PS4 doesn't
Vita,
have a
but-
lot of big titles right now. I feel like they're just relying on the indie stuff.
That could be it. Maybe they're trying to fill the gap because they know there's a hole in there.
Come on, Dwight. Let's not get crazy here. We've got Uncharted Collection
Payola?
coming
You
up.
think there was Payola?
We just got the God of War 3 remaster. There's so much good content coming up for PS4. It's clearly the superior system.
Well, yeah. I mean, there you go.
Solid remakes.
I'm dripping in Frank's sarcasm. It's just dripping off my nose and my face.
So, Frank, did you not get a chance to try the Deer God yet?
I did briefly. Didn't blow me away. I think I played it for 20 minutes, and I don't think they present the introduction of the game very well, I would say.
Hello?
Hello? Hello?
Hello?
Hello?
Hello?
Hi.
Oh, hi.
Okay, we're back.
I don't know what happened there, but
We had a little blip there. A little blip.
sorry.
Dear God, hiccup.
Can you hear me now?
Yep.
Okay, so yeah, I would say the Deer God. I love the art style. I mean, it's a game where you're playing an animal. Clearly up my alley. I just found I didn't understand the goal, and the introduction of the game is not set up very well. I mean, I'm not going to give up on it. I just didn't have a compelling reason to keep playing when I only had a short amount of time to play games.
Yeah, I played maybe a little more than you did, but I initially was like really into it, and I liked the art style. I thought the soundtrack was awesome, and just the whole atmosphere of it was great. But it's a fairly simple platformer, but I just was so confused at things. Like, they really do not explain anything to you, and the big thing is I didn't understand how to save. Like, it's something to do with you have to find like a bigger deer, and then a heart appears or something, and then that means you've saved.
Yeah, you continue from there or something. I agree. I should say with Binding of Isaac, I had the same thing with that game.
Yeah.
Where learning how to play or what I was supposed to do took forever, but I eventually ended up loving it. So I never got the vibe that Dear God was a roguelike in any way. Maybe
pretty
it
sure
is.
it is. It's a rogue
So maybe I'm
light,
just-
I believe.
Roguelite, okay. So I just wasn't getting it. So I'll give it another chance knowing that.
Yeah.
I just wish these roguelike or lights would give you a little more as a player.
Yeah.
Like just a hint more, or put it in a menu or something. It doesn't, if you don't want to put it in the presentation of the game, just give me a way to just squeeze out a little more information here.
Yeah, like I don't mind having to figure things out, but like there's 3 gauges at the top, and I kept having the green one would go all the way down, and then my health would just start slowly falling away, and I had no idea how to stop it, and it would keep happening to me. So that was a little frustrating, but I'll give it another chance probably. I'll end off with a couple mobile games. I played Her Story. I don't know if you guys heard about this.
Yeah.
I was really intrigued by it initially, and it got a lot of good reviews, and everybody kept saying how it's, the first game that really makes you feel like a detective. It's a great mystery. And I was like, oh, that sounds pretty neat. And the idea is you're just kind of given like an archive of video interview footage with somebody who's telling you, like essentially what happened when her husband died, and you're trying to figure out who killed him. And you watch a video, you get a little bit of information, and then you go to the database and you search for new keywords, and then you bring up new video clips about, she mentions the name, so-and-so did this. So you type that name in, you get any video clips that pertain to that person. And it's sort of like...
It's a full motion video game. It's Sega CD.
It is. It kind of is. But so it leads you down this path of clues, and you kind of have to keep following it. And at first I was enjoying that, and I say maybe I played about half an hour of that. And then at a certain point I was like, but wait a minute, is this it? Like how do I even know when I solve the mystery? And like that's when I kind of realized there's nothing else to this game. Like I don't even think I looked it up online, and apparently if you watch all the right videos so that you have all the information, you will get like some final video that explains everything.
Yeah, I think I read you get like a prompt saying, "Are you ready to end the game?" or something like that, or not even end the game, but like, "Do you want to watch the final video?" or something.
Yeah,
and that's it. And then you watch it, and then that's like the end in quotes. But they don't even explain to you what the solution is. Apparently, it's kind of up in the air still.
Oh, really?
Yeah. So I guess there's like
sounds like a great fucking game.
Yeah, apparently there's a few theories online of like who was the actual killer or whatever, and I guess the guy who wrote it isn't gonna say which way, so it'll be like a who done it forever.
Well, I mean, it's a cool concept, but I feel like I could have used a little more actual game pieces pulling me along there. I
feel like this
else.
is a case of reviewers having their English degree and just loving the like well-told story so much that they'll rank it. Because everything I've heard has been from journalists, and they all love it.
Mm-hmm.
And I haven't heard anyone else other than you, non-journalists, talk about this yet. So it's interesting to hear another perspective of it. And I did know that there was not much gameplay other than watch video, search database, watch video, search database. Like that's the game loop.
Yeah.
And that's the only game.
Okay.
That's it.
I mean,
So Sean, I have one question for you.
yeah.
One letter answer. What grade would you give the acting in the full motion video?
Probably a B. It was.
It's pretty good.
It was actually not bad. I mean,
I heard it is good. Yeah.
it's just one person, so I'm sure she's a decent actor. Like, they didn't have to hire a whole cast or anything. But yeah, like I wish there was a little, like, the game loop is okay, but it's just weird that you're the one forcing the game loop on yourself. Like, I wish there was just a little something extra that marked your progress or something. I don't know how to explain it. Last thing I'll mention, Lara Croft Go, which is the Tomb Raider themed mobile game that just recently came out. It's the second in the Go series. They already made Hitman Go, which I haven't played. But this I really liked. It's actually, I think the artwork's kind of inspired by Monument Valley, but it's sort of like a turn-based strategy game where you're working your way through levels and you jump from square to square, but you have to hit traps and trigger things in the right order, and you have to, there's enemies, but you have to come up behind enemies or from the side in order to kill them. So it's all about finding the right path through the level, essentially. And I thought it was actually pretty fun and engaging. And
It's free to play?
it is not free to play.
Oh.
I believe it's $4.99. So it's but yeah, I thought it was quite good.
Oh, and her story is only like $6 too, or $5. It's really cheap as well.
Yeah, I think
I think it's like $6 Canadian or something.
yeah,
Probably $4.99
it might be cheaper
US.
on Steam actually. I'm not 100% sure.
Oh,
but,
yeah, that's where I saw it.
okay. Okay, so I guess that's it for what we played. Anything else? No.
I have a question for you, Dwight.
Yep.
What makes you, and this, because it's just, I'm asking because it's so far out of my, my brain wheelhouse when it comes to games. What makes you go, fuck, I am dying to try this Tomb Raider Go. Like, what, like, on your, it's a phone game? Like, it's a,
Yeah.
like, how do you find these games? Like, is it because you just pride yourself on finding, like, really, like, games that aren't mainstream and, like, hey, I got to check this out?
This one was pretty major, though.
Yeah,
Was
Tomb
it?
Raider Go
I
is
feel
pretty
like-
heavily featured on the store and stuff, and it got a lot of good
Oh.
reviews.
I had heard of that.
Yeah?
And, yeah.
It was an E3 press conference for Square Enix, I think.
IDOS?
Or IDOS, yeah, Square Enix, yeah.
Yeah, Square Enix, yeah. So
Well, then shame on me. I don't know shit about that. It seems very like you seem to find like all these like do you enjoy kind of the I don't want to play the mainstream stuff as much. I want to play.
Well,
I think Dwight likes a new experience. Like he's looking for, like he likes the mindfuck, right? He's looking for something that's different from what's out there. He wants something he hasn't done before.
Right.
yeah, I would say that's accurate. I would say also as far as mobile games go, there's a greater chance I'm going to play it because I have my phone with me wherever I am, whereas I just don't seem to have the time for a lot of the big console games. So,
okay, follow-up question, Dwight. Do you play mobile games when you are pooping?
occasionally, yeah.
Okay.
When do you find you most play your mobile games?
Well, right now, because we have two kids that sleep horribly, I'm finding that I'm sitting in one of their rooms at night for like an hour or so at a time sometimes. So it's a great time
Like
to
just sitting there like rubbing their leg kind of thing, saying go to sleep, shh, that kind of thing, and
just
playing.
Essentially, you have to
Wait.
have to be in the room, otherwise they freak out. So it's like you just
Wow.
sit down and chill out with a mobile game or something.
Huh. And so, what are they freaking out about? Is this like monsters under the bed, or
No, not really. It's just a separation anxiety kind of thing, I guess. Like, yeah, Kieran used to sleep fine on his own, and then for some reason he kind of what's the word?
Lost it?
Well, he went backwards, and now it's like
right? Regressed.
regressed, yeah. So,
Huh.
I don't know.
And so then,
That's a
while he's trying to sleep, you figure the best way to get him to go to sleep in a dark room is to light up your face with a mobile phone.
Kids like night lights and shit too.
No, I'm
so
kidding,
it's just
I'm kidding.
like they don't care about that.
Yeah, it doesn't seem to bother him, but
No,
You just need to close the door.
It's just that you're
go out of
there.
The room and ignore.
well, that's obviously the best strategy, but the problem is
They'll get
when
the-
one
they'll get the
cries,
point
the
after
other
a
one
couple
wakes
days.
up. So it's like if one of them's sleeping and one wakes up, it's like, well, okay, I could
that
just
sucks.
close the door and let them cry, but then the other one's going to wake up, and then you're going to have two screaming kids, and it's just, I don't know.
you know what? Having kids sounds hard,
Yeah, it is.
and it also sounds like it would take away from your video game time. So I think I'm just going to avoid the whole
You lose
children
a lot of
situation.
Video game time.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I want to be able to fucking go and play my Warrior on Guild Wars 2
my
whenever
kids,
I want.
My kids play video, like they're at the age where they play video games now.
Right.
So
So
I
you
get
can
a
play
lot of good-
StarCraft.
I got a lot of good achievement boosting.
Nice.
Oh, that's
Out of that.
Oh, whoa.
Oh, yeah.
You didn't create profiles for your kids?
No.
You let them use your profile?
Yeah.
Oh, that's uncool.
You should see all my Skylanders achievements.
Frank's
Your
losing
Skyline.
now.
Oh,
I
yeah.
earn none of them.
Oh yeah, so that's should I get this? I don't understand Disney Infinity. Should I get that shit? I don't understand it. I love the little collectible toys, but are the games actually like the little games? Are they like 1 second games?
No.
Like
No.
It's like a whole story line.
The new one's Star Wars too.
I know, like that's what I'm seeing that one now. I'm like, should I get it? Like I was thinking about the Avengers one. Should I get that one? Like, I'm not gonna...
Like you can get the Avengers one for $20 now. So what's
no, but you have to buy the original system, like because now they're all upgrading. So I think you have to buy
No,
the new
Disney
Infinity.
Infinity 2.0? You can buy for Xbox One right now for $20.
Well, guess what? The Star Wars one and the new characters coming
No,
out are
it's-
3.0.
I know.
Yeah, but
So I'm saying get the 2.0 one. See if you like the general vibe of the game.
Right.
That's all.
Yeah.
And you'll be able to use those toys in 3.0
There's like
too.
the story, like so, like the Guardians of the Galaxy one. You go through and do all kinds of different stuff. Like it's like following the story of the movie or whatever.
Huh.
Well, kind of, pretty loosely.
I should look into it because I'm kind
It's
of
more
worried.
for
that-
kids.
You'd have to
Yeah,
ask my
I'd kinda
kids
be
about it.
worried
They know
that-
more about it than me.
I got some of the figures. I kind of like. I got Stitch sitting by my art desk at home. I just kind of want to see what his game's like.
Well, you need to.
I don't know if there's a Stitch game though. So they have characters that are not. They don't.
So
have
they just
game.
plug into a game.
Yeah, well, like because they have like that toy box thing where you like go and create your own game. So you can go on and like people have spent like hours building like this intricate level, and you download it to your thing, and then you could play that. And those ones, it's sometimes like geared towards like you have to have Stitch to play it, or it's like any character can come in and play through this level. And then there's the actual like story pieces. So you on the platform thing, you put like the Avengers story, and it's like to be that it's like there's a list of characters that work
that
in
will
the
play
story.
that. Right.
The other characters, it'll just come up and tell you have to put a different character on. So it's kind of
Just
different than
Sounds like bullshit.
well, it is kind of bullshit. Like especially because it's like Disney's Skylanders, but in Skylanders it's like any character goes on, and like as you get the later Skylanders, like my kids have like a mountain of Skylanders toys that the newest game they can put anyone they want, and like it's like their level like whatever one from the first game that's like really ranked up is like awesome in the new game because it's like
ranked up.
That's
the whole point of it.
But the Disney one's not like that. Like you rank up your characters, but they're
not stored in the thing. It doesn't.
No, it's stored in the actual thing. Like you rank the character up, kind of thing, and it's stored in the character.
But it may not be usable in a new game.
But it's like I have the.
But it's only usable in toy box.
Level like 100 Iron Man or whatever, and I go and get the Star Wars thing, and I can't be him.
Right.
In Star Wars,
because you got to be fucking Obi-Wan at level 1.
Yeah.
Forget that. I'm not buying that shit.
Reel it in over there, okay? Reel it in.
All right, we gotta wrap this thing up. So let's do some junk mail before we all fall asleep.
I'm just getting
vibe. Yeah, we're just vibing over here.
We know.
Site B over here is just we're having
I
a
might do a
great
shot
time.
of whiskey.
Yeah, we have whiskey over here. We got Buddha beer.
All right,
We got weird pastries. Sorry, continue.
Weird. Let's turn over.
so gamejunkpodcast@gmail.com. We got one from Cayman Lou in Australia. Started off asking how we thought the Arkham Knight ranks alongside the other games. I think we kind of already answered that. But then he went on to say that maybe it'd be interesting if the game had actually, instead of gone for a bigger open world, if it had kind of gone smaller. And he says, what game sequels can you think of that have gotten smaller in scope but have managed to retain its ambitions and honed in on evolving its gameplay mechanics? What game in its second or third iteration in a franchise have reduced open world space or side missions in favor of a tighter, more engaging main story through line? For example, I'm hoping that Rise of the Tomb Raider is going to eschew violent gunfights and bloody shootouts for more Tomb Raiding puzzles. Can you guys think of some examples? Thanks. Love the podcast. Hugs, and many kisses. I can't think of any because I don't think it happens ever.
I agree.
I don't think
I was thinking the
I can
exact
only
same
think
thing.
of the bad cases. The worst case, two worst cases of all time for this for me: Jack and Daxter 2, Sly Cooper 2, killed franchises I loved.
Because they were
but he's
smaller?
talking about like who honed in and brought went instead.
No,
of
I'm saying all I can think of is the opposite. Like games always try to get bigger.
Yeah, they always try to
do
get bigger.
open world stuff,
Yeah.
and it's the worst.
The only
Right.
ones I can think of maybe are Dragon Age 2. Didn't that one become like corridors? Instead, like Dragon Age 1 was pretty open. I never played Dragon Age 2, but I think it was more corridor based kind of levels.
I got one, a Huck in that Mass Effect 2 and 3 definitely
just gonna
scaled
say
back
that
from
too.
Mass Effect 1.
Those two definitely as well.
And
And
a
I-
lot
I
of
think
people
it
love those
benefits.
games.
Well,
right. So
yeah.
then there's a perfect example.
people.
I never played those,
Not
but
me.
yeah.
Yeah, that's a
think
good
the-
example, actually.
Like the BioShock games kind of stayed the same ish. Like I don't think Infinite was like so much bigger in scope. It seemed almost the same as
It seems like video games tend to like the genre is like you have to do better than or big. People are expecting more the next time. Like to do the same thing in the next game.
yeah, everyone freaks out.
Everyone's just like, well, there's nothing new about this one. I mean, I just played this one,
Yeah,
right?
meanwhile, like a good example of that is BioShock, where the first one and the gameplay on both the first one and Infinite are almost the same. But I played it for the story. Like I didn't care that it was like almost the same gameplay.
What
with one
about
extra thing? or
The
whatever.
actual BioShock 2. Wasn't that like not even very well received?
I don't
I
think it
liked
was,
it.
but like I consider Infinite and the first one to be like the actual sequel because they were made by the same company.
Right.
Whereas 2 was just like, hey, look, we've got a franchise that made money. Let's make
Shit out
sequels,
another one.
pass it off to some other hacks.
Ooh, that's got venom in it there, Hirosh.
I have one other marginal example that I can think of.
Okay.
In a way, Super Mario Galaxy tightened everything into smaller micro levels on the planets, and it was just taking tighter, concise ideas and going from planet to planet to planet, rather than having a large landscape in a level and exploring it. It was tightening everything about the game.
Okay.
What
You
about
disagree? Is that doubt in your voice, Sean?
No, that makes sense.
what about
Okay.
the original Legend of Zelda to Zelda 2?
Yeah.
Because Zelda was open world basically.
Yeah, that's true. I mean,
And 2 was
it was 2 was open world, but it had the side-scrolling level. So
smaller corridor type things.
yeah.
I don't know if this is the same thing, but like, would you consider Resident Evil 4 to Resident Evil 5 scaling back, like not making it completely linear and action based, rather than like an Arkham Asylum that you would explore?
No, I don't think so. Not necessarily. I mean,
Okay.
But I think the question too, like the email was more like, did the games become better because they scaled back and focused on specific things?
Well, I guess Mass Effect 2 would be the only one that.
Yeah, it's the only one I can think of.
But that's only because they reeled in the shooting mechanics, not so much that they improved the level design by making it smaller, though. But
Yeah, I just think it was, I don't know, tightening up the RPG system. I'm sure there's people who prefer the RPG system to part 1. I do in some ways, having played the game a lot. But I think for an average gamer, they improved the experience in Mass Effect.
yeah, it's definitely easier. Ease of use is higher.
okay, Bjorn in Silicon Valley says, "Dear kind folks at Game Junk, I've recently been thinking about the parallels between the film and video game industry, and I was wondering what you guys thought about video game auteurs. I know it's nowhere near the level of film auteurs, but a much more segmented creative process. I feel like it's steadily heading that way. Do you agree with the premise? If so, do you think it's a good thing? Here are some examples I've thought of for film and video game comparisons. Let me know what you think and if you have any of your own. So Hideo Kojima is like John Carpenter or Bong Joon-ho because of his weirdness. Tim Schafer is like Spike Jonze for humor and whimsy. Fumito Ueda, who did Ico and Shadow of the Colossus, is like Brad Bird, character tropes minus the humor. Ken Levine is like Christopher Nolan, scale and narrative elements. Cliffy B is like Michael Bay. And Amy Heading is like Joss Whedon because of banter and humor. Love the show.
I would say
I'll be up.
I was gonna say I would say Kojima is more like Woody Allen. It's like a big pervert.
Nice.
Maybe he's Michael Bay. I think that's actually a really good email with very apt comparisons.
Yeah.
The only thing I would say, I don't have a ton to add other than Kojima stands out by far to me as the one that is an auteur in video games, and you would know his game when you see it. I mean, Team Ico is the same way, but I feel like this is what I was going to say. Those are more Team Ico games. I don't feel like there's one man behind that vision or one woman. It's just, this is the style of game that the studio makes, where with Hideo Kojima, I feel like it's him dictating that, or he did. I could be wrong, but what was the other one that I somewhat disagree with? I don't know, they're pretty good. I feel like Kojima is almost an auteur among auteurs in that I don't think he really compares to anyone in film either. He's just his own ball of wax.
Yeah, I feel like Miyamoto would be one, but I don't know who he would compare to. Maybe like Tim Burton and his sort of like wackiness, playfulness. I don't know. And then the only other one I could think of is Peter Molyneux, but I don't know what director
that's a good
he
one.
would relate to.
He'd be like a Ridley Scott or something, maybe.
Well, I was gonna say I want to know who Ridley Scott is as far as like his more creative sort of like leave you hanging type movies. Like Alien, like the whole lore behind Aliens and like Blade Runner. And who did Total Recall? I want a
Paul
video
Verhoeven.
game.
Who's the Paul Verhoeven of video game? Whoever did
Suda,
you know what
Suda
game
51.
makes me That's close, but do you know what game makes me think of Paul Verhoeven?
What?
The one that Huck loved about the robot,
David Cage?
No, the game you loved. Why can't I think of what it's called?
Two Souls?
It was the game by Sega where it was a shooter with...
Yes. Yeah, I love that game. Binary Domain.
Binary Domain.
Yes.
Binary Domain is Paul Verhoeven.
That's like Kojima's, or that's like Snatcher in the, or Blade Runner, I guess.
Yeah. Good email, though. Good email.
Yeah, I know we did talk a little bit about video game auteurs on, was it the last episode or the one before?
Yeah, it was one of them.
But
We didn't compare
I
it to
think
these.
with the indie games, that's where you get more of a sense because it's a smaller team, but it's just a lot of those people haven't quite made a name for themselves yet. Okay, Dean says, "Hi, game men. I was wondering whether Frank would discuss Trilogy, Cred, and video games. What are some of the best? Can a Trilogy successfully span console cycles without losing Cred?"
The game that comes to my mind immediately with Cred or Trilogy Cred would be Uncharted and God of War are the two I would think of the most. Consistent visual style, presentation.
What about Halo?
That's a good one too. Absolutely. My bad.
They do have cred, or they don't?
They do, because they establish systems in the first game, and those are games that don't try to add a million things to their game all the time. They rework the content, they change the environment, some of the enemies, but the base presentation and the core elements remain virtually untouched.
Like Gears would be another one like that.
Gears would be too.
Bioshock, maybe?
I haven't played enough of it to say for sure. Yeah, I don't know. Those are the ones that come to mind for me.
What about Metal Gear? How does that fit into your equation?
I feel it doesn't. Like I'm sure people know the story of Metal Gear and say it makes sense. I do not. I do not think it makes sense.
All right.
Yeah, I feel like those kind of seem to stand out. Each game is kind of individual, even though it's following an arc, like a story arc. But they definitely feel, if you're talking about Cred being like visually and storytelling and stuff, they feel very different to me.
Metal Gear?
Yeah.
Well, I feel they're very similar. They've just, the technology's changed underneath, but the presentation elements have stayed very, very similar. But it's almost more embarrassing for Metal Gear that they eventually reinvent the wheel every time and somehow retrofit the story to fit it in with everything. It's like Mortal Kombat stories. There's a bunch of people who give a fuck about the backstory for the tournaments in Mortal Kombat and who won which Mortal Kombat tournament, and that just, I've never thought about that for 1 second of my life other than right now.
All right, Jabe Holloway says, "Hey, game guys, I have a confession to make that will trigger Frank's gag reflex. I have never platinumed a game. I know his advice will be to kill myself, and trust me, I've thought about it. I love the accomplishment of completing a game, but don't feel compelled to collect and complete side missions. I feel these things actually detract from the game. For instance, I like Tomb Raider, but stopping the momentum of story and gameplay to collect artifacts lessens the severity of the life and death situation Lara is in. Would she really care about relics at this point? Finding a mask molded from some psycho hose beast's face certainly adds nothing to the experience for me. These things are more noticeable in a cinematic game like The Last of Us. I got my first trophy near the end, and it actually pulled me out of the experience and reminded me I was playing a game to see that notification appear on screen. What do you think? Am I a true gamer, or am I gutless?"
Was that a Wayne's World reference in there? Psycho Hose Beast?
What?
What was that from?
Maybe, yeah. That's Wayne's World.
Yeah.
Can I jump in on this? This email resonated with me because I feel like Jabe, is that how it's spelled?
Yep.
Or said? He's cockles of my heart. I feel him because this is how I play games too. I mean, if I get achievements, then great. Do I hunt them down? No.
Okay, now this is addressed to me. Would it induce a gag reflex?
Does it induce a gag reflex?
Of course it doesn't.
Exactly.
You can play however you want.
However you want.
That's my problem. That's my burden. I don't look down at someone because they don't like achievements. I look down on developers and publishers like Nintendo who don't cater to that aspect and the gamers that do want them. But, I mean, if you don't want to do it, no one's making you. Do whatever you want. Get achievements, don't get them, when you're crying 10 years from now and your gamer score is like 12 and you're like,
No,
shit, I could have got...
I totally
and then
agree with this
whatever.
guy. I totally agree with Jabe because Job? Job?
Just call them cockles.
Cockles in my heart, because when he said it takes me out of the game, I agree 100%. The comment about would Lara Croft go, oh, I should probably go into this hallway just that I just passed in the heat of the battle because, hey, you know what? There might be a dead end and a fucking relic or something like that at the end of this hallway. I agree. It takes you out of the story
Well, that's
and the
why
mode
gaming-
of being in the... You're RPing that character in the game at that moment in time.
Well, guess what? This all comes down to... That's why gaming is interactive. The choice is yours, my friend.
That's right.
You
And
play-
he should not
you
feel
play it
bad
the way
about
you-
missing out on that fucking relic in lieu of
Yeah.
continuing with a fluid story that the game is laying out in front of him.
But clearly, if he's writing an email about it, he's thinking about it.
Because
that
he looks up to you and your
Nobody looks up
rants,
to me.
Oh, believe me, your rants about completionism and getting every token in every game and platinuming this and that makes people feel inadequate sometimes.
Well, don't. I'll tell you right now, don't feel inadequate.
Believe me,
it's a
I
burden
never do.
I wouldn't even wish upon my worst enemy.
Sleepless nights thinking about platinuming games on hard level. You don't want that, Job. Cockles.
Crystals.
Keep playing the way you want to play, bud. I praise you.
Crystal cockles.
Well, I'm sure this will surprise absolutely no one, but I have not platinumed a game either. So
Nice,
Yeah,
buddy.
Neither have I. I have
What?
1,000 a lot of game. I have 1,000 a lot of gamer score games, but no platinum trophies on the PlayStation.
wow, that's a revelation. All right, Jared from Subway wants to know. Hey, y'all, big fan of the show.
Hot button.
What do you think about esports, particularly League and Super Smash Brothers? Opinions on the emerging industry and any players in particular. Also, has anyone watched the Smash Brothers doc series? If so, what do you think? Much thanks. Jared.
They're for losers. Hey, Darosh.
No, I'm a big fan of StarCraft esports. Everything else, not so much. Although I think Rocket League would be pretty awesome with like commentators
Yeah.
and stuff, because it's actually like a sport game.
Yeah, I would watch Rocket League. That's the
Yeah.
problem for me is like all the ones that are the big esports are games I've never really played and don't understand the intricacies of them. So
I think that's the same
I-
with any real sport, right?
yeah,
When I first started
Yeah.
watching American football, I was like, I don't know any of these rules. Why would I want to watch this game? But then once you learn the rules and kind of know how it's played, it's much more enjoyable to watch. I'm sure it's the same thing with most of these like skill-based
Of course.
esports.
Yeah, no, it makes total sense that, I mean, if there's like a audience for it, it's going to be very enjoyable to the audience. I mean, like when I got into watching the StarCraft stuff, I was into it. Like I was waiting for new matches to come up to
it's
watch.
awesome.
Yeah.
I think it's awesome that it's becoming so big because it's just another thing to watch if you're into that.
Of course, I certainly don't think it's for losers.
I-
I
No,
was
it's not for
joking.
losers.
I was joking, but I mean, I just don't have a game that I like that.
Right.
Like that I'm not into. I've often said on this show, I wish I did. I wish there was
I'll
a
message
game
you
that
the
I
next time StarCraft comes to Toronto.
we'll do it
Now
up.
that's another thing. I'm not sure I would ever go.
Oh, it's pretty sweet.
I mean, yeah, don't get me wrong. I'll never say never, but I don't think I would go and watch, like in an auditorium, 6 kids sitting on a stage with a LAN connection, and then the big screen, and then having people talk about it like it's an actual sporting event.
How's it any different?
It's
though?
pretty awesome.
Yeah,
Yeah, it's fun.
I'd watch it online. I don't know if I'd go to the actual
It's the
event.
same.
I feel like
It's like the
I'd rather
comparison
see
of
it
watching
live.
a sport. Yeah, like it's like I watch a football game at home sometimes and enjoy it, and
Right.
I go to the game and get juiced and love it live too. So it's all good.
Yeah, I guess you're right. I guess my point is I don't like a game enough at that level where I would like to
Exactly.
see it live. Yeah,
But maybe there'll be some weird Guild Wars
crystal collecting game.
Crystal Con where everyone
Crystal
goes
Con. Oh
gets
my god.
just drenched in crystals from the ceiling. And
But I mean, like some of those games, it's like certainly big business. Like the Dota tournament. That
They
just
make
happened.
so much money.
I think the winning team won like $6 million.
Yeah, it's
for winning the
ridiculous.
tournament, yeah.
Esports is one of the like fastest
Massive.
growing like prize things. in forever.
Yeah, that's
Like they're
nuts.
all.
I'm
the
making
team, I think it was
that
like
up, but I'm just saying
5 or
it's
6
a lot of
people,
money.
and they won like $6 million.
Yeah, I know, it's insane.
Yeah, it's
Good for
insane.
them.
This is non-fact.
Like
Fact
pro
of the day.
pro gaming is legit. Like if you're good, pro gaming is big money. Like imagine sitting at home. Like I remember I used to talk to Joe about this, and we'd laugh and go like, "I just want to become a pro gamer." Like because we love playing games. Like it's fun, right? Who doesn't love playing games? I mean, I get it to be that good, and it's still like it's like becoming a
They like live in their
It's
own
like a lotto,
house
right?
and train nonstop.
yeah. But I
and
mean,
it's-
like it wouldn't be fun at that point. But I'm just saying, like, could you imagine
But you look
playing
and it's
Halo
like
and making millions of dollars playing Halo?
the number 1 people make good
Yeah,
good
then-
money.
yeah, exactly.
And then you look down, like the next person down, and it's like such a drop off.
Oh, for sure.
Like,
Because it's basically
it's
prizes
completely
at
like the winner
tournaments,
gets
right? Yeah.
the
If only
spoils of
there
everything,
was
right?
e-gaming or professional gaming for Wayne Gretzky 3D hockey for Nintendo
Oh, yeah.
64. I'd be a bajillion.
You would be number 2, bud.
No, dude.
We already
Dwight-
know who won
you
that game.
No, you forget Dwight Guy brought my skill level down so hard that game.
I believe I beat you one-on-one also.
I do.
No, that's what I'm saying. He like sabotaged my skill.
He put you in the wrong mindset.
Yeah, I mean, you gotta have the killer instinct. Hey, look, there's no undefeated pro gamers either, so
Well, we'll
true.
have to play
just get
again.
ready.
We'll stream it.
All right, Chris in Milwaukee wants to know if we're going to do any more streams in the near future, and if Frank still has the retro gaming lounge, and if he has acquired any new retro games.
We're in the retro gaming lounge. I don't acquire anything, and I very rarely play the stuff in it. But I mean, it's there.
Haven't you
if I get the
been
itch.
contemplating selling the collection?
Oh, it crosses my mind now and then, but I'm like, I just look at it, I'm like, who could sell this thing?
Yeah. Nobody would buy this.
There's
shit.
no need.
Who the fuck is going to buy
You're telling
X-Men
me
2 for Genesis?
I'll tell you right now, I could get an easy $30 for Wonder Dog boxed for Sega CD.
You could sell this game that I found.
Yeah, Dan found me Snatcher. It's
Beautiful.
right there, which Huck talked about.
Yeah,
That bad boy goes for crazy cash online. I would never
Super
do that.
rare.
That's a precious thing
Found
to
that at
me.
a yard sale.
yeah, he told last time I was here, he told me all about that story about how you got him that. And I think we were talking about would you sell it, and he's like, I feel guilty about selling that because I'd have to give some money to DeRoche because he hooked me up with
Of course.
that game.
And I,
But yeah, no, I find this.
Unless you want me to sell it and give you some.
I don't care what you do.
I'd have to say that this room for being a gaming lounge is a bit. It's not that accurate. If it was felt more like a gaming lounge upstairs when it was like available to be played at any second. Right now, it feels like you'd have to pull this out, plug it into that TV on the far side of the wall. Doesn't feel like there's any chairs set up. It feels more like a game retro storage lounge is what it feels like.
Okay.
It's like a
well,
museum.
we're not going to do this because we're already at 3 hours,
Oh, yeah,
3.5
I'm
hours.
sorry.
But I would challenge you, other than Sega CD and 32X, name a system. I'll have it up and running in 1 minute. If you notice over there, each bag is labeled with a sticker with the cables that correspond to the system. Can be picked up at a moment's notice, plugged into that receiver.
TurboGrafx 16.
I said I'm not going to do it.
Let's next question.
and well, as for us streaming
next
again,
email.
uh,
Yeah. which
like
dance?
we'll probably do that again. But it was it's really hard to organize, like all of us getting together and doing the streams. But
I think I was here for one of your streams.
Yeah,
still
for
trying
we
to
should
do
all
another
stream Rocket League.
Ooh, Rocket
And I was
League.
trying to
Good
do
idea.
some of just me playing a game, but I cannot get the motivation to do that anymore. It's hard.
My curiosity, I would like to set aside an hour a week on a specific day to do it. I just don't know the best day to do that.
Yeah.
You just
If-
pick one. People will come.
If there's any feedback on when that would be,
6 at 5 a.m.
I'm
Doesn't
thinking
matter.
like 9 p.m. on Wednesdays
Done.
because there's fuck all to do on a
People will
Wednesday.
show up, bud.
Once the summer's over,
Yep. It's a
that
good
could
time.
be the day.
I'm telling you, man.
Sounds like a plan.
You do it, people are going to come and watch it, and then they'll be pissed when you change to another channel or another time. You just pick a time, that'll be the time.
I can teach you guys how to play StarCraft.
You'll be my, I'll be your apprentice.
Arkham.
Apprentice?
Arkham part.
Padawan.
Let's do it. I'll watch you guys.
Okay, watch me.
All right, Dwight.
Anyway,
All right.
next.
Yeah, we got a few more. I think I'm going to end on this one, though. It's a rapid fire from Blake in Boston. Are you guys ready?
Ready?
Mhm.
Yes.
Hey, guys, think fast. Metal Gear Solid 5 feels completely different from other entries of the series. Can you think of any other franchise that changed up its gameplay style? Resident Evil.
Yeah.
Final Fantasies.
Grand Theft
Oh,
Auto.
Final Fantasy 13 is good. Yeah. Grand Theft Auto, that's good. Man, you're killing this, Dwight. Oh, I got nothing.
Yeah, I was gonna say the only franchise that I've played really is Assassins, but that's actually pretty.
Would you
the
count
same?
Metroid from like Retro Studios?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah,
That's good.
definitely.
Yeah, to the
Yeah, absolutely. Zelda 2, as Huck said.
Now that we're almost done with year 2 of our current gen consoles, which one is winning the console war? Soft air quotes. We already know what Frank's going to say. He can skip this one.
X-Bone.
Yeah, PS4. Still winning.
PS4's winning, but X-Bone coming on hard.
Technically winning, PS4. Winning in my heart, Xbox, obviously.
I just think the like backwards compatibility on the Xbox and the Windows 10 streaming is pretty awesome. If you don't like to leave your computer, so that you can immediately switch to StarCraft whenever you need to. It's perfect.
I just think they're giving... Xbox is giving me more. They're giving me more incentive to play that system right now. That's not to say it can't change. The consoles are identical. It doesn't matter. Just right now, I'm getting more from them than I am from PS4.
Headphones or 5.1 surround sound or shitty sound bar?
5.1.
5.1.
5.1.
Yeah, 5.1.
Shitty sound
Duh.
bar.
Well, you were playing your PS3
Exactly.
and
Yeah,
480
here we go. Go ahead.
for
Yeah,
10
yeah,
years. So
yeah,
whatever.
go ahead.
What's the most ridiculous plastic thing you've bought to supplement a video game? For me, it was a ludicrously expensive racing wheel and steel mount for some Gran Turismo game.
Ace Combat Flight Stick package.
Yeah,
Or
just
the activator for Genesis.
I did go out and buy a flight yoke for like a simulator flight yoke for X-Wing, Rogue Squadron or something, like one of those
Nice.
X-Wing simulators back on the computer back in the
I
day.
did something
I have that.
similar.
I have that DJ Hero turntable.
Oh yeah,
I've
who
got
the fuck played that game?
$5. Oh, DK Bongos. I've got 4 sets of
Oh,
DK
he does
Bongos.
too.
That's a good one.
yeah. I just have musical instruments. Favorite video game song and or soundtrack?
Mega Man 2.
Oh, fuck, I know. I have one for this. I have to.
Scott Pilgrim versus the World.
It's pretty good.
Or the theme or the Uncharted theme.
I actually might go with the Metroid Prime soundtrack, believe it or not.
That is so you. That's a good call.
But it's not even chiptune, you know? It's
It kind of is, though.
a little bit.
The barbershop quartet people singing the Beach Boys in Bioshock Infinite.
You love Bioshock Infinite.
So cool.
Dax, what do we got?
I'm blanking. I know I'll think of something as I'm driving home, but I
No,
can't
WoW.
think of it now.
WoW's got to have a killer score.
Ooh, yeah, that's pretty good. Actually, yeah, we'll go with the Frozen Throne soundtrack for the Lich King expansion for Warcraft.
Very specific.
Which track? Which?
The whole soundtrack, the whole like CD that actually came with the deluxe edition was amazing.
And finally, what's the longest gaming session you can remember?
16 hours at least for me playing Warcraft.
Wow.
Does it have to be on a single game or just
I think total.
anything? I'd say I easily pulled a few 16 hours in high school.
I don't know, maybe like 3 for me. No, that's not true.
You've only
I did a few.
3 hours is all you've played?
No, I did probably a couple 8s over like do a sleepover at a friend's house or something. You stay up all night playing some stupid Super Star Wars game that's impossible, or Contra 3 that keep dying at.
I did that shit on NBA. What was that slam dunk game on the original NES? What game was that? The
Arch
Double
Rivals?
Dribble. I played Double Dribble like when I was like 10 for 8 hours, but that's nothing.
What a hero.
Oh, you guys are pro gamers.
I don't know what it is. For some reason on WoW, I had stamina beyond. It would just like time would just go, and you just like, man, I'm good. Let's get some Cheerios and keep this going.
Honestly, recently, Jackbox collection, I had a bunch of people over here. This is probably around my birthday. I think we played that for 6 hours straight.
Wow.
I picked that
Easy.
game up. It's a lot of fun. With people
Easily
over.
6 hours
Yeah.
straight.
That's amazing. Okay. So
What did you say, Dwight? You didn't say nothing. When and you, Dan, what are your longest?
I'm like in the 8-hour
Really?
range probably.
Yeah, same here. 8 hours. I probably played StarCraft in one sitting for that long.
Nice.
So thanks for the emails, guys. GameJunkPodcast@gmail.com. We'll try to get to the rest on the next show. So when is the next show going to be is the question. Lots of big releases coming up over the next little while. We've got Super Mario Maker coming out this week. We've got NHL 16, NBA Live, NBA 2K16, FIFA 16. We've got Lego Dimensions, September 27th. We've got Tony Hawk Pro Skater 5, September 29th. What else? Rock Band 4, October 6th.
Ooh, now we're talking.
Uncharted Nathan Drake Collection, October 9th.
Keep going October, baby. Keep going. I'm so
Talos
pumped.
Principle on PS4, October 13th. Yoshi's Woolly World, October 16th. Guitar Hero Live, October 20th. Assassin's Creed Syndicate, October 23rd. Zelda Triforce Heroes, October 23rd. Halo 5 Guardians, October 27th. Call of Duty Black Ops 3, November 6th. Fallout 4, November 10th.
What? Whoa!
What?
I could have sworn that my Transformers game I've been waiting for like 3 months now. It's coming out in October.
Oh, Transformers Devastation, October 6th. Sorry, missed it.
Whew. Thanks, buddy. That's
Same
the game.
day as Rock Band? Ooh,
I am
ouch.
stoked for that game. Oh my god!
Did it-
Heart of Thorns, Guild Wars 2, October 23rd. Oh,
The Transformers game does look pretty cool, actually.
it looks amazing.
Like, I
I
don't know.
can't
It
wait
seems
for
like
that
every
shit.
Transformers game comes out, and it seems like it has potential, and then I'm always just like, it's okay. But this seems like
I agree.
it could be good.
I think this is gonna go above and. I think this is finally gonna meet our expectations, Dwy Guy.
Yeah, hopefully. Star Wars Battlefront, November 17th. Star Fox Zero, November 20th. Just Cause 3, December 1st. And then Rainbow Six Siege, Xenoblade Chronicles X, and Hitman.
I don't know when the next episode is going to be, but we need a streaming Rock Band night for new Rock Band.
That would be amazing,
definitely.
actually.
Should we try to play Metal Gear for the next show?
I'm not that interested in Metal Gear.
Okay.
I mean, I don't know. This is the problem for me. Like, I think
None of those games are really interesting to me.
the only games I think I will for sure pick up are Halo 5, Star Wars Battlefront, and Rise of the Tomb Raider. The rest,
I think Battlefront is
Makes
the one.
sense. I mean, everybody in the world will be able to relate to you guys with Battlefront. Like, that's the one.
That's what it's got to be. Dwy Guy, this Battlefront 2 is your favorite game from what I hear. Like, you loved it.
I don't know if it's my favorite, but yeah, I played both 1 and 2 quite a bit.
You loved it. So
Let's do it.
this is the one.
Sounds good
This
to me.
is the one.
Cream Dream Surprise.
And we can talk about Halo as well.
Sure.
When
All
does
right.
that come out? November?
End of
End
October.
of October.
So, Dax and Dan, thanks for being here.
The marathon.
Thanks for having
Another
us.
Thanks for having us,
long
guys. Yeah, for
episode.
Supercast.
So, why don't you guys tell us where people can find you on Twitter and other stuff like that?
Nightwing 12 on Twitter, all spelled out. The number is spelled out.
What about Dan D's deal of the day? Is that still going?
Yeah, that's on there, but I only post on there semi irregularly.
Okay.
Although I post on my regular Twitter account even less. So
I think your Twitch.
I'm on Twitter, but I barely post on there. And then
Let's get that Twitch going. What's the Twitch again?
Twitch is Nightwing81.
Nice.
That's all that matters.
What do you stream? What do you stream yourself doing?
I stream StarCraft,
Really?
and I stream. Nobody watches.
I'll watch that shit.
And then I stream. I've been streaming Rocket League when I play that because it's pretty awesome. And I'll kind of stream whatever. I think I streamed some Gears Ultimate Edition at
I'll
one
have to
point.
watch a little DeRoche action.
Yeah. So
I'll
follow me
if
on
I know
Twitch.
who's playing, I'll fucking watch it.
Well, if you follow and you have the app on your phone, it like comes up and beeps and says like, "Hey, I've just
Oh,
went
that's pretty
live,"
good.
and then you can just
Okay.
go on and.
All right.
Nice.
I'm still D__GEE on Instagram and Twitter. You can find me on Facebook, Dax Gordine Illustrator, DaxGordine.illustrator on Facebook, and see what I'm drawing and all that kind of stuff.
Nice. So, Dax, when are you going to be back on Film Junk? What movies are you looking forward to right now?
I'll come back whenever you guys want an opinion that's not necessarily logical or makes sense on anything, but what am I looking forward to? Obviously, Star Wars is going to be amazing. What's coming out?
Star Wars for sure.
Well, yeah, Star Wars for sure. What's coming out? Are there any?
The Martian?
Oh, that movie's gonna be good. The book was so good.
Yeah, no, I mean, I can come back on any of them, but I mean, like, as far as I'm pumped for, like, ready to just give like a 5-banger on, guaranteed Star Wars will
You
be
don't even need to
amazing.
go see it, really.
We can do like a super Star Wars thing.
Oh,
That'd be
yeah, it's
fun.
gonna be huge. I think Reed's gonna.
I mean,
be
I'm
there,
sure
too.
your show anyway is gonna be huge on Star Wars, regardless.
Yeah,
But yeah, just let me know, and
we'll figure something out.
we'll figure something out. Yeah.
All right, and the rest of us, you can follow us on Twitter at Dirty Frank with 3 R's in Dirty, at My Angry Commute, and at Film Junk.
I might try to do Until Dawn stream, maybe.
Yeah.
Yeah, I got it at the old library,
Okay.
so we'll see. Give it a go.
Okay.
Maybe.
And
Do it, bud.
I don't know if this will be out before that.
And you can follow the Game Junk Twitter account at Game Junk Podcast, and that's about it.
And what's our Twitch Game Junk podcast as well?
Yeah,
Is it twitch.com/Game Junk Podcast
pretty sure.
TV.
or twitch.tv? Yeah. Okay. Cool. And that's about it. So until next time, we'll see you guys later. Bye bye.